Disclaimer. The following content is entirely fictional and does not represent real events or people. This material has been edited and adapted from the channel Golden Hour Stories. I promise I won't be out long. I try to convince my grandmother as she interlocks loops of wool that somehow produce a blanket. We do not need any more. But I watch her as she knits like a child learning to speak, wondering how string and words come together so flawlessly and gain meaning. She rolls her eyes at me and continues to rock back and forth in her old wooden rocking chair, one that my grandfather built before he passed, like some image of perfection. The creaking noises crawl up my back and into my ears. My grandfather had a knack for woodwork and was often found working outside, though I was too young to remember the sight of it. I inch closer to her as if she forgot I had asked a question. My grandmother and I are different. There are two sides to us. One side is human, and the other is beastly. This animalistic half has been with me since birth without a choice. I had no say in the matter as it remains entirely genetic. Like my grandmother, I have the ability to turn, to shift into something wild, a creature coated with thick, rich fur and built with sharp, threatening teeth. A wolf. Specifically a werewolf. Were meaning man, which is silly because I am clearly not a man. My grandmother and I are not the only werewolves in existence. In actuality, there are hundreds of our kind scattered around the world. I was born into a pack, though I do not remember much about those. It is a vague memory, as at the time I had other things to worry about, other problems to distract me. Though in the pack, I lived with my mother and father, and in the beginning, all was well, that I remember. The laughs and memories resurface now and then to torment me. After an attack on the pack's land, they sent me away to live with my grandmother. It is for safety, they told me, yet I have not seen them since. My grandmother has taken care of me from then until now, raising me for over a decade. And for all these years, the only reason I have is that of an attack. Details were not given to me. Even after asking grandmother, she does not seem to know much either. Grandma, can I go? I call to her like a distant voice. She seems to be somewhere else. She sighs and sets down her knitting needles, the only ones she has ever used. There are a few scratches in the wood, but they are not impaired enough to make her toss them. Fine, but be back before dark. Or at least before the canopy matches the sky. Dear. I slip on my coat, one that I usually wear when the weather is on the cooler side. I'll be back. I call to her before fleeing out the door and into the crisp autumn breeze. I suck in a deep breath of the relaxing aroma. It smells like fallen leaves, damp dirt, and my freedom. If freedom had a scent, it would surely smell like this. I wander through the trees, gazing up their mile-long trunks, watching their burnt orange and burgundy leaves sway like the rocking chair I saw only moments ago. There is a wet feeling in the air, and all around me is damp from the rainfall earlier today. I watch the rain from my bedroom window before being called down for lunch. The raindrops stream down the glass, and I try to find meaning in the drawing. Part of me is always looking for answers in everything, waiting for the universe to give me clarity on fogged aspects of my life. After deciphering the squiggly lines for far too long, I give up and try to remember that they are just raindrops on my window. The cool temperatures of the season keep the forest and my skin fresh. The forest is quite crisp tonight. But even now, even in the snow, the rain, or sunshine, I feel uneasy like this. In my human form, there is a weird feeling in my stomach. The animals watch me like this, and I think it is because they believe me to be trespassing. In my more untamed form, they do not seem to mind me. I hop over a fallen tree and come up to a small stream. Weeds and grass grow out of the clear. Cold water and dance like they do not have a care in the world. My fingertips dip into the stream, and the water chills them to the bone, my skin turning blue and purple from the inside out. I have never passed the stream. I always save it for later. But then I forget. Everything roaming and singing in the forest steals my attention, pulling me away as if I have transformed into a simple-minded child. Grandmother tells me not to cross the stream. So I do not. But I want to. I really do. The curiosity burns my soul. And you may think I am dramatic. Which I am. But I walk here almost every day and wonder what is on the other side. Maybe a castle with a prince like in my childhood fairy tale books. But that is unlikely. So I will continue to pretend that there is a prince. You wish, my wolf mutters to me. Oh, don't you lie to me. I know that you want to find out what's over there too. I grumble inwardly, giving into the conversation that no one else can hear. The act brings a new concept to talking with yourself. No, I don't. All I want to do is go home. It's as cold as an icebox out here. Okay. We're going back. I mumble to her and spin on my heels, facing the direction of the house. One day I will cross over, and he will find out what is on the other side. I trudge back to the house just before dark. I would still be exploring if it were not for my wild, judgmental wolf. It is as if she is the opposite of me, which explains why she is terribly fearless. I stomp up the porch steps and gently open the front door. The lights are off, so Grandma must have gone to bed. She tends to fall asleep early, which I expect. Slowly shutting the door behind me, making sure to not wake her up like times before, and creeping up the wooden stairs, I slip into my bedroom. The walls are a light shade of blue, and the floors are a medium wood, something natural and native looking. My bed sits in the middle of the room in between two windows that view the trees surrounding us like stone walls. Moonlight drips through the glass and creates an eerie glow on the floor, almost lighting a path for me. I shrug off my coat and lay it on the back of my desk chair. Another past work of my grandfather. Too tired to change. I climb under the white duvet and shut my eyes. The only thing running through my mind is the stream. Its frigid, soft current flows through me, as if something is telling me to venture on. This something is leaning down and whispering in my ear. Go past. Go past. I'm confused. What's pushing me to cross the stream? I mumble into the air of my empty bedroom. You must discover for yourself. The angelic voice fills my cold, red-tipped ears. Right away, I know it is the moon goddess. I trust she is in the room. No longer needing to search for her. I imagine her long, flowing white dress and silky, endless hair that seems to float around her, not touching her porcelain, unearthly skin. To me, she is more magical than a goddess. I knew you would say something like that. I sigh and curl further into the covers. There it is, flowing right in front of me. All I have to do is step on the surfacing stones and cross it. I already lied to my grandmother about what I was doing, and now I don't even have the guts to carry out my plan. It's not a big deal. Just see what's on the other side. My wolf pushes me. You're right. It's no big deal. I lie to myself. The taunting thoughts picking at my mind seem to believe the quick action of hopping across is indeed a big deal. The moon goddess didn't help me make my decision as she decided to keep her opinion out of this, although she tends to do that frequently. Most of the choices I make are based solely on my own ideas and convincing. Reaching my foot out to the first stone, I shift my weight onto it, and then the other. And I am now standing on the first rock. The first move is over with, and I still feel undecided. I was hoping the step of faith would trigger something in my head. I back away and move off the stone. Maybe we should do this another time. It's no big deal. My wolf reminds me, sounding somewhat annoyed by my reluctance. Okay. I'm going. I take a deep breath before stepping back onto the first stone. Then onto the second. Then the third. Now we're going places. My wolf comments. But I ignore her. Now, standing on the last rock, I begin to feel nervous. This is it. I am finally going to find out what is on the other side. Part of me believes that I am blowing this all out of proportion. But the other half is bothered by the bugging thoughts. I carefully step off the stone and onto the brown. Sponge like dirt. I scan the area before taking another step. Seeming to be the only person out here. I shrug my shoulders before heading into the trees. I guess it was no big deal. Birds sing up on branches, and forest animals scamper across the earth floor. Not threatened by my presence today. I watch a squirrel dash towards a tree, flying up the bark like it does every day. When I was younger, I begged Grandma to let me bring home a squirrel so I could keep it as a pet. Naturally, she said no. But it still broke my 8-year-old heart, as back then I was looking for anything to distract myself. I do not remember a lot of my childhood. Mostly just being with my grandmother. I do not remember my parents too much as I left them so young. All I know is they brought me to Grandma's to keep me safe. Because of the attack and possibly my ability. But that is my own theory. Grandmother is not part of a pack. She is very independent. She would tell me that you do not need a pack. All you need is a mate. She said this when I was around 10 years old. So I did not understand the need of a mate. Evidently. I barely knew what one was. The thought of having a soulmate frightened me a little. But then Grandmother would tell me stories about her mate. My grandfather. He died fighting in some attack. Back when Grandmother was not a grandmother. She would tell me about their dates. When they first met. And a heaping of other romantic things. Attacks seemed to drive many of us apart. She was quiet after he died. She was quiet for a while. Hey, what are you doing on Tate land? An authorized voice tears me from my thoughts. My gaze swiftly shoots up to be greeted by a man's intense one. He is tall and muscular, built like a warrior of another time. His light blonde hair gently moves with the cool breeze of afternoon air. The man's skin is lightly tanned like he has spent days working in the sun. The man is not old. And if I had to guess, I would say he is about 23. Which is specific. Getting a powerful feeling from him. I believe him to be important. Hey. I'm talking to you. He hollers at me again. Becoming irked. What do I say? I don't know. Who is this guy? Why does he think he is so much stronger than us? My wolf growls. Rolling my eyes, I let out a small laugh. My wolf is the complete opposite of me. Yet the moon goddess paired us together. So I suppose opposites do attract. Why she thinks us to be so strong is beside me. Look. Rogue. I don't have time for this. The guy says, and crosses his arms over his chest. You're coming with me. This time when he speaks, it sounds much more aggravated. Swiftly. He reaches for my arm. But thankfully I have time to jump back. My heart starts beating a little faster. And from panic and anxiety, my legs turn to jelly. What's happening? Why does this man want to take us? Why did he call us rogue? I panic. Well, apparently we did cross on his land. His land. Why does he have his own land? I question dumbly. Evangeline. It's a pack's land. And to be specific. He said Tate Pack land. My wolf explains in a rush. Before I know it, I am being snatched at again. But this time I cannot get away in time. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Please just let go of me. I cry out, completely confused. But he does not let go of my arm. Instead, He continues to drag me through the trees. Further from home. I try hitting him, begging him, and I even start to cry from fear of the unknown. Evangeline, calm down, or he's going to kill us. My wolf yells at me. Kill me. But I didn't mean to cross on his land. Where are you taking me? To the Alpha. His voice is firm and emotionless, as if he knows this is not going to end well for me. And I believe him. The man continues to drag me, and I happen to notice a small building through the trees. Behind it, I can almost make out other buildings, almost like houses. As I come closer towards the dreary, dim place, I notice two people standing on the outside by the door. Maybe they are guarding it. Found a rogue while checking the perimeters. One of the men guarding the doorway asks, not very amused, why bring it back? The man, dragging me, nods. It was giving me a hard time. We are not an it. My wolf riles up within me. I was going to keep it in a cell until I get orders from the Alpha. You know, what he wants to do about it. The man's tone is bored, as if he deals with this kind of nonsense every day. Locking innocent people in cages. How barbaric. Go on in. The guard motions to the doorway. The man abruptly yanks me into the brick building. The inside is dark with a horrid smell. Possibly rotting flesh. Reeking throughout the room. There are rows of cells with black bars vertically caging in whatever they hide. We come to a halt in front of one cell, and with a thin strip of light trickling into the cold space, I see the rest to be empty. Suddenly, his two large hands push me inside. Before I can comprehend what is happening, the door is slid shut with a clicking noise to top off the unreasonable action. My eyes grow full, and I rush to the black bars. As soon as my bare hands touch the metal, a stinging, burning sensation sears me. Hissing in pain, I peer down at my singed palms. Oh, I wouldn't touch the bars. They're made of silver. Don't let the color trick you. The man calls from where we came. On his way out. We have to get out of here. My wolf frantically panics. Oh, really? You think we should? I see that her sarcastically. I take a deep breath to calm down. Sorry. I'm just scared. I am torn from my thoughts by a sudden movement in the far corner of the cell. It is too shadowy and dark to tell if anyone is there. So I stand up straight, trying to find any ounce of courage I may have. Hello. Help. Me. A quiet voice says back. It is feminine and weak, as if she has been sitting in here for decades. Immediately, I rush into the darkness and try to feel around for anything. Then a hand lightly touches mine, and I grab it. I'm going to pull you where it's lighter, okay? I warn the person, but I get no answer. What if she is dying? I do not think twice before pulling her where the light shines through the small window in the hallway. When I look down, I see a girl, maybe a few years older than me. I gasp when my eyes reach her leg. There is an enormous gash in it, and it is most likely infected. Dirt from the floor covers her face, and there are small cuts and bruises all over her body. The clothes she is wearing are all tattered and stained with blood. Oh gosh. What happened to you? Her head slowly turns towards me, and her dull eyes stare into mine. I was trying to get home. Boo, but I accidentally crossed on a territory. She breathes out. Her voice is dry and hoarse, and I know she must be dying for a drink. But your leg. They attacked me. Her head moves back onto its side, and the girl takes in a small breath. I peer back down at her leg, and it looks to be bleeding. I quickly take off my jacket and wrap it around her leg. I try to tie it the best that I can to stop the blood from seeping out. "Thank you," she mumbles. I wish I could do more. But I look around the cell. There is not much in here. "How long have you been in here?" I'm not sure. Maybe a couple of days. Who could be this cruel? Trapping people in cells until they rot. What kind of land have I stumbled onto? After a while of sitting in silence, exhaustion starts to come over me. But I have nowhere to sleep but the cold cement floor. "Good night," I say to the girl. Yet her eyes are already closed. I do not get any answer. So I assume she must be asleep. I sigh and turn on my back, looking up at the blank, gray ceiling. "Don't worry, we'll get out of here," my wolf says. I sure hope so. I say back then, close my eyes, hoping this is all a cruel nightmare. Please, let me wake up in my bed. Let me wake up at home where I am safe. I sure hope so. I am jolted awake by the sounds of many footsteps hitting the cement floors. I push myself from the cold, hard ground and yawn. My body aches and my bones are chilled. It was like sleeping in a freezer. A dusty, potent freezer meant to hold dead bodies. This entire building feels like a death chamber. I glance at the other girl in the cell. She seems to be still sleeping. My hands run down my face, and when I look at my palms, there are thin streaks of dirt on them. I am thirsty. My mouth is like a desert that has not seen rain in years. I wonder what grandmother is doing, what she is thinking. If she is panicking, hopefully. She does not have a heart attack. I just need to get back to her. The footsteps grow louder until the man from yesterday stops in front of the bars of the cell. A glare hardens on my face as he opens the door and motions for me to go with him. It would not be smart of me to refuse. I glance back at the girl. I do not want to leave her, but I will find a way to get her out too. I struggle to my feet with a sore back and trudge towards the man. He shuts and locks the door after I am out. "Do I have to drag you? Or can you obediently follow?" "Well, if you tried to run, I would have to kill you," he says. I nervously nod my head and follow him out of the brick building. When the sun hits me, I am blinded, my eyes burning from the sudden light. I rub them until it does not sting to have them open. "This way," the man orders. I trail behind him as we walk from the brick building and towards the houses in the distance. The closer we get, the more I study them. There are about 3 houses in a row with more farther in the distance. The 3 homes are vast, but the one in the middle is mesmerizing. It is white on the outside with accents of gray stone. We hurry to the front steps, and I feel a little on edge when the man knocks on the 2 grand white doors. It does not take long before a young, handsome guy opens one of them. "What you got, Andrew?" he asks the man, excited. Just from this small encounter, I can tell he is an overall happy person. All of the sudden, a dog of some breed comes running out the door and straight towards me. I have never seen a dog in person before. "Bruiser, get back here." I immediately crouch down and start to pet the sweet thing. I have always wanted a dog, but Grandma said if I can barely take care of myself, I cannot take care of an animal, though I was a child when she told me that. "Hey there. Aren't you just a big sweetheart?" I coo at the slobbering dog, his stubby tail wagging like crazy. He jumps up at me, placing his paws on my shoulders and starts to lick my face. I let out a giggle, returning to some other version of myself who still wishes for pets. "You're silly, aren't you?" I peer up at the 2 people, and their expressions are full of surprise. I pat the dog on his head and stand up, remembering my position. Okay. Come on in." He's in his office. The guy at the door welcomes us, and the man, whose name is Andrew, leads me into the house. Andrew grabs my arm and pulls me down a long hallway. Portraits hang in between the windows that have silky curtains framing them. Like white waterfalls, they pool on the wooden floor. As we venture further into the lovely-looking house, my heart starts to beat faster, as if something is calling me to come closer. All I want is to get back home to grandmother, so I can get on my knees and beg for forgiveness. I miss her terribly, and I bet she is panicking like a child that cannot find their mother. We near two large, gray doors, and I can tell that whatever is behind them is the thing calling me, whispering for me to burst through. An irresistible aroma floods the air. It is woodsy, fresh, and very masculine. I never want not to smell it, as the particular scent has my knees wobbling. I start to breathe heavy as the temperature in this house begins to rise. What's happening? I ask my wolf, in need of an explanation. I don't know. She sounds different. She is being affected by this hypnotic trance also. We reach the doors, and my wolf is utterly restless, not being able to calm down. Andrew chooses one of the two, knocks on it, and seconds later I hear a low come in. My heart thumps hard. Andrew slowly pushes the door open, and it takes a second but feels like an hour-long ordeal. My eyes dart into the room. Bookshelves line two opposite walls, and they are filled with hundreds of books. The walls are a dark gray, and the floor is a dark, clean wood. There are two comfortable-looking seats placed in front of a grand wood desk. Sitting behind the desk is a man. He has deep brown hair neatly on his head, and it suits him well. Even though he is sitting down, I can tell he is well built. The stranger's fierce. Dark green eyes glide up from the papers scattered about the desk as soon as I step in. I suck in a breath and stare at his addictive, handsome face. It is unreal. Inconceivable. This creature set before me is something I could not fathom even in my limitless imagination. The scent took over my brain the second the door opened, and now I feel the intense need it to breathe. His gaze burns through me, and unlike any time before, I worry about how I look. Dust and dirt from the cell cover my face, and I must look monstrous. His eyes roam my body, making me feel naked. He must be the alpha. Does he have this effect on everyone? I brought the rogue, Andrew says, reminding me of where I am. I do not realize I am holding my breath until the man behind the desk stands up, making me release it all. The stranger is like a mighty statue of a warrior from long ago, like the man beside me, intimidating me so easily. My body slightly shakes under his harsh gaze, my knees growing weak and my palms clammy. I force myself to look away, averting my eyes to my feet as I cannot look at him any longer without realizing the truth. Very well. You can leave. His voice sends a shiver down my spine, and the hairs stand up on my arms. On the inside, I cannot help but hope the order was for me. But it was not. Andrew's footsteps flee the room, and the sound of the door closing taunts me, but my gaze stays strictly glued to the floor. Look up. This time his voice sounds smoother, like a melody in my ears. Look at me. My breath hitches in my throat as he steps closer to me. I cannot bear to look at him. I cannot admit to the inevitable effect he has on me. I said, look up. He repeats, sounding more serious, like I am a child and he is scolding me. I start to panic. Please. I didn't know that I crossed on your territory. I don't even know what's happening. I ramble. Where is my wolf when I need her? Suddenly, his hand grips my jaw and brings my eyes to connect with his. My heart jumps from the electric feeling of his skin on mine, as I am obedient in his arms. Mate. Mate. His hand slowly slides from my jaw to the back of my neck, and I study his emerald green eyes, the eyes of my mate. I have found him, the person that grandmother has told me so much about, the person that is supposed to matter so much. I cannot control it. The sudden need to be with him. He is a stranger, yet I have an abrupt need to please him. What is your name? He asks quietly, not moving his hand while the other continues to rest on my back. I cannot focus. His touch is distracting. Evangeline. I breathe out, unsure of my answer. I'm so sorry for what I did, but I have to go, I say and glance away from his handsome face, landing my eyes on the wall. Maybe if I do not look at him, I will gain back the ability to speak properly. My mind is torn. Part of me never wants to leave his arms, and the other knows I have to return home swiftly. Who put you in the cell? He asks, not fazed by my words. I don't know. You do. He corrects me. I don't know his name. The alpha moves my eyes in the right direction again. Tell me. Evangeline. Again. I refuse to answer. Andrew did indeed lock me in a cell, forcing me to lay in the dirt. But I will not turn him in. Something tells me he would be punished. Why do you need to know who? They couldn't have known. Nothing will happen to them, he assures me, though I have my doubts. If I tell you, I can go. The alpha, my mate, nods. Okay. It was Andrew, but Marina, he calls out. It only takes a few seconds for the doors to open, revealing a short woman with caramel-colored hair. She has an apron wrapped around her body and white tennis shoes, ones that older women tend to wear, which is understandable. Her skin is tan and glowing. Yes. Alpha, she asks. Quick. Take Evangeline and get her cleaned up, he says to her. Hearing him say my name makes lips part. Never has it sounded so beautiful, so desirable. Before I know it, I am being led out of the room by the woman. Marina. When I climb out of the trance, my mate placed me in. My eyes grow wide. Wait. I have to go, I tell her. She turns around with a soft, welcoming smile. Come on, honey. Let's get you cleaned up. But, come. She links my arm with hers and leads me down a hall. Then, unexpectedly, to a room upstairs. The room is at the end of the long hallway, guarded by two large doors. She pushes one open and pulls me in gently, and I do not plan on fighting her. My head spins when I enter the dark room, as his scent is everywhere. Everything seems to hold it. In the center of it all is a bed with silky sheets peeking out from the side. My face flushes all possible shades of red. I tear my eyes away, and they land on a doorway which connects a bathroom. Marina is inside, folding fluffy, white towels and resting them on the edge of the substantial tub. Beside the bathtub is a modern new day. Dark brown tiled shower. Everything is dark. I'll leave you to shower, and I'll grab some clothes from Fiona. They will be on the bed when you are done. Before leaving, she smiles again, almost excitedly. I nervously smile back. I hear the door shut and I know I am alone. Surely she cannot expect me to shower in a bathroom that does not belong to me, or anyone I know. This is all so bizarre. But knowing my mate is down the steps, so close, makes me feel less uncomfortable. He said I could go home. He said it to my face. But the bond between us has blinded me. Maybe he meant after I get cleaned up. Oh gosh, I just want to be at home in my own bed, wrapped up like an infant. This has been the most insane, most unbelievable day of my life. Why did the creek possess me? As if it grabbed onto my feet and used me like a puppet. He is why I felt so attached to the idea of crossing, and I know that now. But look where the action has gotten me. I have found my mate. Hesitantly, I take off my filthy clothes after checking to make sure the door is locked. Never have I felt so bare. Under the water's current, my mind continues to question and conjure. The alpha. The stranger. My mate. He can play me like a violin, and part of me would not see the wrong in it. Something about him has me addicted. Hooked on by his every word. Move. Breath like he has cast a spell over me. Never have I been so undecided. Of course, I cannot help but think about abandoning my old life, leaving it all behind to be with someone made for me. A mate. Oh, how sweet the possibilities sound. Then there is the other half of me, the half that worries for my grandmother. What if she has gone out looking for me? What if she accidentally crosses the land as I did? They cannot put a fragile old lady in a grimy, noxious cage as they did to me. The warmth of the water leaves me. Stepping out, I grab one of the towels and cover myself. Marina told me the clothes would be on the bed. So I look out into the bedroom and thankfully find the pile there. The bedroom door is closed, so I venture out and quickly change. Still feeling somewhat bare, though the borrowed clothing overs me. I grab a robe from the bathroom and wrap it around myself. Staring into the mirror above the counter, I sigh. Anxiety caused by all this is keeping me from leaving the room. What if he is out there? What if he tells me that I can never go home? I cannot stay in here and curse myself continuously for wandering over the stream and throwing myself into this mess. Wishing it never happened will not get me out of this situation. My mate. Gosh, he intimidating. Just his eyes have me begging for mercy. There is not enough courage inside of me to stand up to a man like him. And that is not even acknowledging that he is an alpha. How could you do this? What have I done? She softly asks. Though. She knows what. I am sure of it. Glancing to the side, I see her looking at me with the same eyes that she always has. Even since I was a child. Every time I peer into them, they bring me back, reminding me of times not so pleasant before my grandmother took me in. Why now? The choice was yours. It hardly was. Not with all the feelings poking at me to cross over. You know that I barely had a choice. Now, look where I am. How do I get back home? The moon goddess says only, Evangeline, you are home. Finally. A place where you can be accepted. I swallow. My parents couldn't accept me. What makes you believe this man you have set me with will? Because he is my mate. It doesn't make sense. My own mother kept me hidden. So why should he listen, believe me? I was a child, watching the other pups playing, laughing, crying, shouting outside. I watched from the attic window alone, as I was often by myself. They would tell me that the attic was a safe place, a place where no one could hurt me. Yet there I was, more hurt than ever. As a child, I felt abandoned, left in a room and forgotten about by the two people who are supposed to love me the most. They never saw me as their child after I told my mother, only a secret to be hidden and kept from the world. But for what? What was the point in keeping me alive if I could not live? I stayed in the attic, pretending I was normal, pretending that I was the child they longed for. I had no one but the moon goddess to talk to play with. My mother set up a bed and dresser for me, even a toy box with dolls and such, though I often did not want to play with toys. But the other children in our pack, as I watched them from the window, I would imagine myself there with them, wrestling, learning, Embracing childhood as a werewolf. Something unique. I guess I was too unique. I did not know that no one else can see her. Talk with her. I thought it was normal. You are strong. My wolf tells me, coming out from her corner. I nod my head and turn towards the bedroom doors. I peek into the hallway and see no one. After taking a calming breath, I quietly sneak down the hall until I reach the same stairs Marina lead me up. Once at the bottom, I hear voices. He did. I saw her when she first came in. Well, what does she look like? She's a pretty girl, but she seems a little off. I don't know. Not normal. Are they talking about me? Before I can listen any longer, the voices grow to close. They are coming around the corner. Immediately, I head off in the opposite direction, away from the staircase. But I am not fast enough. Hey, it's you. The familiar voice calls out to me. And when I reluctantly turn around, I see the boy who opened the door. The one standing there when the dog ran out. Where were you going? He asks. I'm not sure. Another guy is standing beside him, watching me. You're my brother's mate. The boy is the alpha's brother. I did not think about my mate having a family before, though the idea of it is quite evident. He must have parents. And a brother is normal, I suppose. The boy does not look much like the alpha, though. Yes, I am. I was just on my way to get you. My brother wants to see you. He tells me. I'm Henry. Evangeline. He nods, and the boy beside him drifts away without saying a word. Henry glances at him, then back to me. I'll take you to him. Deciding to take a risk, I catch his attention. Wait. I have to get back to my grandmother. She doesn't know where I am. Your brother, the alpha, said I could go. My brother said you could leave. Well, yes. We made a deal. I explain. Now, can you point me in the direction of the door? Oh. And the stream also, if you can. Henry does not seem convinced. You better talk to him about it. He just told me to go check on you. Take you down if you're ready. I hold my breath. All right. Fine. Take me to him. At my grandmother's house. Everything is cozy and relaxed. While here, I am scared that if I touch something, it will break, shatter, and get me in trouble. It is a lovely house, but far too frangible. Too fragile for me. Henry. I call out to him as we make our way down the same hallway. The one that leads to the alpha's office. I need a favor. He peeks back at me, looking rather curious. What? When I was in the cells, there was a girl in the same one as me. She needs to be let free. He lets out a hum, telling me that he is thinking. Then he turns back to the hallway. When we come up to the familiar, gray doors, my heart starts to pick up pace and my nerves spike. The intoxicating scent of my mate fills my nose. Henry lightly knocks on the door, and I come back to reality. A low, familiar come and prods at my ears. Slowly, the door opens, and I am almost too anxious to see him again. I enter the room, but Henry does not. He shuts the door behind me as if to trap me in. I glance up and see the alpha sitting at his desk. As before, he looks powerful and intimidating. I begin to feel extremely nervous. Something about this man has me begging on my knees and hiding behind my hands at the same time. He makes me feel desired without saying a word. The alpha stands up and slowly walks over to me. My breath hitches when he reaches only a few steps away. But he comes closer until he is right in front of me. His scent makes my mind go foggy. I see you found my robe. His voice is smooth, like music to my ears. He rolls the very soft fabric in between his fingers, a spot right beside my neck. I can hardly speak, and I am sure if I tried any words would come out as a squeak. I no longer have dirt smeared my face and dusty clothes, but my hair is damp and possibly tangled, and here I am again, worried about my appearance. The girl in the cell, she needs to be set free, I say with the last of my courage. Making demands so soon. His hand gently scoops up my own, his touch soft on my skin, and I only begin to want more. The feeling of him. It is something so new, so addictive, so good. I love the way you react to my touch. He chants in my ear, causing my mind to run blank, erasing all things I had planned on saying. A blush floods my cheeks, and I look away, not wanting him to see me as a gushing fool. I have never been in a relationship before, let alone kissed a boy. Obviously. At 8 years old, I was not running around kissing every boy I saw, for obvious reasons. With grandmother, I did not think about boys at all, as there were none around. Look at me, he says. I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about packs and hardly anything about mates. I barely remember my old pack. I gaze up at him and look him right in his emerald eyes. I have to get back to my grandmother. His handsome face hardens. Why are you not part of a pack? I don't know. Truthfully. I think I know. But I do not see the need for him to know. My grandmother chose life this way. So I obey. My time in a pack was not great anyway. And now I have no desire to be in one. What do you mean you do not know? Have you always been rogue? What's rogue? I question. Confused. He looks at me, almost like he cannot believe what I am saying. Where do you live? With my grandmother. Across the stream. I answer him while gently pushing out of his grasp. Though I already miss the feel of him. I have to get back to her. She doesn't know where I am. Suddenly a man comes through the office doors, and he seems startled. The Alpha immediately looks at him with hard eyes. Alpha. We found 2 rogues on the border, so we brought them to the cells. What should we do? The man asks for orders. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. The rogues. I do not understand. Andrew called me a rogue, so why did they not get rid of me? What are you going to do with them? Lock them up. I question. I don't have time for this. Riker. Just do as I say. My mate grumbles and crosses his arms over his chest. My eyes stay fixed on his bulging muscles. Like a 14-year-old girl. I quickly snap myself out of my trance and cross my arms over my chest in response. He does not have time for what? My question. The man. Riker. Leaves the office in a hurry, and I attempt to follow him out the door. But of course, it is not that easy. My mate grabs my shoulders and turns me back around. Back facing him. The tingles from his touch slowly spread throughout my body, instantly relaxing me. I don't think so. He says. I have to go make sure my grandmother is okay. At least let me check on her. Make sure she is at home and safe. He sighs. All right. But you are not going alone. I don't want to take you away from your work. I protest. His expression softens. Evangeline. I don't want to risk your safety. And I cannot trust anyone else right now. I lightly nod, agreeing to his offer. I tighten the string of the robe, preparing for the crisp autumn weather to hit me roughly when I step outside. Following him out the door, My attention drifts as my eyes watch the tall grass by the tree line. The long blades softly sway in the breeze, making me feel as if I have entered some sort of dreamland. I also watch my mate. I am not sure what alphas do. All I know is that they are the leader of the pack. One of the many things prodding me in the back of the head is the title. Luna. She is the queen to the alpha's king. Will I become Luna? The girl that was locked in an attic, then hidden at her grandmother's house. The girl who speaks to a person no one else can see. I do not sound like the person for the job. Not only am I clueless about alphas, but Lunas also, which seems obvious. How can one know about the Luna and not the alpha? And the other way around? Listen, we aren't trying to cause you any trouble. My head turns in the direction of the voice. Off to the right, in the direction of the building. I see 3 men, one of them being Riker. The other 2 look to be standing against the wall, their backs to the dull bricks. What's going on over there? Nothing. Now keep walking, my mate says uneventfully, though there seems to be something going on. As I look closer and think harder, I realize that those 2 men must be the rogues Riker was talking about. My feet begin to lead me in that direction, driving me away from my grandmother's house. You are not going over there. My mate grabs my arm. Just a minute ago, you were begging to see your grandmother. So that is what we are going to do. What's happening over there? I question while pulling my arm from his grasp. Those are the rogues. What are they doing? My mate says nothing but gives me a certain look. I want to go over there. You are not going over there. Suddenly, I spin around and quickly walk in the direction my feet are dying to take me in. I can feel my mate behind me. Surprisingly, I notice an object in Riker's hand, but I cannot see it clear enough to tell what it exactly is. I said, he begins, and I interrupt. What is he holding? Is that a gun? Immediately, I start to move faster. He has a gun. I glance back and shout at my mate, who oddly does not seem as surprised as I am. That man, Riker. He is going to hurt those people. He is going to shoot them. You have to stop him. Evangeline. Stop, my mate says harshly. Don't make me force you. His threat only makes me move faster. And soon enough, the 3 notice me hurrying towards them. I see your gun. I yell to Riker as I stomp accusingly up to him. How could you do something like this? He peers behind me. At the Alpha. Looking right past me as if he did not hear me. We are leaving, my mate tells me, not giving me any options by the tone of his voice. Without thinking, I snatch the weapon from Riker's grasp and hold it to my chest. Evangeline, let go of the gun, he says carefully and reaches his hand out, expecting me to give it to him. I ignore my mate and glare at Riker. You are going to kill these people. Yes, as my Alpha ordered me to. My brow furrows together before I look back to him. You ordered these people to be killed. I ask with the gun still in my hand. My mate suddenly steps forward, lunging for the weapon. But I move away and hold the gun up out of fear. The nozzle points directly at his chest. Give me the gun. His voice grows more tense, more unforgiving. You were going to kill me. You called me a rogue. Why would I kill you? He steps closer. Why would I kill my own mate? My hand begins to shake. All I want is to see my grandmother. We can do that. And I want these people let go, along with the girl that was in my cell. I order. The gun still pointing at him. Obviously, I am not going to shoot anything, but they do not need to know that. I can't do that. he says. I straighten my arm, emphasizing that there is indeed a gun pointing at his chest. I know you aren't going to shoot me. You can't. His eyes gaze steadily into mine, making me clench my free hand into a fist. Now give me the gun, so you don't hurt yourself, and we can go see your grandmother. No. I want them let free. You called me a rogue, and all I did was accidentally step on your land. Yes. One of the men against the building calls out. We did not know this was claimed land. Alpha. Or we would have stayed far away. My mate does not engage with the man, but instead, he attempts to grab the gun again, this time gripping my arm, holding me in place, knowing that if he gets it, these people will die. I do the only thing that I know will make him listen to me. I quickly hold the gun up to my head. My mate lets go immediately. Let them go, I repeat, and this time I see the fear in his eyes. I'll do it. Evangeline, please, move the gun. After they are let go, he runs his hand through his hair. Fine. Let them go. I don't care. Now give me the gun. And the girl in my cell. Riker cuts in. This is ridiculous, Alpha. She's just a little girl. Take the gun from her. I am not a... Riker abruptly lunges towards me and grabs onto the arm holding the gun. Pulling it down, the weapon almost slips from my grasp, and I fight to hang on to it. Then a shot rings in my ears. Evangeline. I let out a blood-curdling scream and drop the gun to the grass. My hands spring up to my head, and I examine them, seeing small amounts of blood stained on my palm. The sight of the red liquid sends my head into an inevitable spin, as the sight of blood has always made my stomach rise. This blood, though, this blood is my own and caused by my own frantic actions. I swallow and try to steady myself. Unexpectedly, a comforting feeling comes over me as two arms wrap around my swaying body, stopping me from tumbling to the dirt. This soothing feeling is like no other. This feeling has my nerves in a frenzy. Oddly, my mind is taken from the frightening wetness on my hand. When I was little, I thought I would die of old age. I thought one day I would just naturally not wake up. It was a peaceful idea, yet unrealistic. Though dying from plainly being wrinkled and weak was likely not going to come true. Never did I think I would die because of my own accidental, panic-stricken actions. Not only have I managed to kill myself, but I also am not sure if those people are going to be released. Please, do not let me die without a purpose. I swear if we die because of your idiotic choices, I'm going to kill you again. My wolf hisses at me in pain. Find out what the rogues did, and see if we can let them go. He commands Riker while holding on to me for dear life. My hand again lightly pats the back of my head, sending a horrific, sharp pain to strike me harshly. I wince and drop my hand to my side. What were you thinking? I do not notice that I am crying until he wipes the salty tears from my flushed cheeks. The softness of his touch eases the throbbing of my unintentional wound. Will I die in this stranger's arms as if we have known each other for decades? My mate's touch, though new, makes me feel like we have been together for many years. Like my body is too focused on the pain and the bond. Oh, my poor mate. Though he seems rather dark and ruthless, he has lost his mate so soon. Somehow I have managed to do something selfless and selfish at the same time. He lifts me up the porch steps, as my legs are not much help, and he brings me inside. Reality no longer feels real. Everything around me is fuzzy and dreamlike. I lay down on the couch and stare up at the ceiling, thinking about all the time in my life that I have wasted. How I could have done more to prepare myself for the end. Should I have never told my parents about the moon goddess? Should I have listened to Grandma when she said not to climb that tree? Should I have crossed the stream? How much can more blood pour out of me? Surely my blurry surroundings must be a sign that my body is running low. Marina, call the doctor now. He calls. It does not take long for her to come scurrying into the room with the phone in her grasp. I just called him. What's the matter? There was an accident. A bullet skimmed the back of her head. I could tell by the sound of his voice that he hated to say it. It is unusual to have a stranger care for me so strongly. The bullet skimmed me. That does not sound as severe as I thought my injury would be. Is it possible that I could survive? That I could live just a little longer before I play goddess once again? My dizzy head makes my stomach rise and threatens to spill all it is holding. Maybe this is all a dream. Maybe I will wake up in my cozy bed. The sun will shine on my cheeks and blind me slightly when I open them at first. I will roll over, avoiding the intense rays, only for Grandma to peek inside and tell me that she has made breakfast. Oh, she makes the yummiest hash browns. How could this happen? Marina asks and hurries closer. They'll get bandages and whatnot until they arrive. My eyes slowly open and close, tempted to stay shut and pull me into a much-wanted slumber. A sudden squeeze of my hand sends a jolt through my body, ridding my tired bones of the encumbering exhaustion. My mate tugs me forward and places a pillow in my place, forcing me to sit up, making it harder to float away to dreamland. Am I going to die? I mumble while fighting myself to stay awake. I don't think so, my mate murmurs. If I do, those people, the girl. My grandma needs to know. I do not say anything else. He squeezes my hand again. Take the antibiotics. Change the bandage. And you should be fully healed in about a week, the doctor says, and starts to collect his things. And I watch him as he does so. My mate stayed by my side the entire time, which made me quite nervous, as he has an intense aroma that makes my heart beat a bit faster than usual. Speaking of heads, you almost killed us. It was not wholly my fault, I argue back. It was a complicated situation. Suddenly, my mate's brother, Henry, walks into the room and observes the doctor, most likely confused by his presence. What happened here? Sebastian. Henry's eyes turn to my bandaged head. Sebastian. My mate's name is Sebastian. I could go on and on about how perfect it sounds. Through all this time, I never thought to ask my mate his name, which seems very odd by now. I suppose his name could be anything that my imagination can shove together, and I would still find it utterly flawless. My mate, now known to me as Sebastian, lets out a low grumble. Henry. Not right now. Hey. Don't be in a bad mood. You've finally found your mate who has a bandage on her head. Henry trails off and looks at me funny. What happened to her head? Sebastian rolls his eyes and sighs. I will tell you later. Just please give her some space. You're here. Because she's my mate. Okay. Okay. I'll go. Henry backs out of the room and disappears further into the house. I wonder what it is like to have a sibling. Someone to bicker with and laugh with. Sebastian and Henry seem to understand each other in some way that I will never be able to wrap my head around. And it fascinates me. The moon goddess has been with me for as long as I can remember, but I cannot relate her to a sibling. Excuse me. I pipe up and catch Sebastian's attention. Can I see my grandmother now? I'll have her brought here. I don't want you moving around too much and passing out, he says, giving me nothing to argue over. Henry. Please command the guards to collect Evangeline's grandmother. She lives past the small stream north of the territory. He calls into the house. Without warning, Sebastian grabs onto my hand. immediately sending soothing sensations through me. Does that help with the pain? I bite the inside of my cheek as they begin to heat up, showing colors that I cannot imagine. It is too difficult to answer his question, so I blurt out something unrelated. How is it so easy for you to kill people? I knew you would not let that go, he mutters. Did you know that you scared me to death when you almost got yourself killed? You didn't answer my question. I stare into his emerald eyes, trying to take my mind away from his hand which still holds my own. Every decision I make is for the good of my pack. Sebastian explains. It's my job to keep everyone safe, and I will not risk their safety on a couple of rogues. I nod, though I do not understand how it feels to be in charge of so many people. What an immense amount of responsibility. And it all rests on his shoulders. You didn't answer my question, he says. It does not take me long to answer him back. I wanted to help those people, though I did not plan on getting hurt. Did I upset you? I ask him, sounding oblivious to the entire situation. Your life is precious, but you put yourself on the line without thinking. Me and those men. We are not equals, are we? We can't be because I'm Alpha's mate, and that places me above them. Right. It is frightening how I could have been in their place. The gun could have been pointing at my head. But it wasn't because we're mates. I may not understand what the Alpha has to do, but I don't think a title should place me above them. I was called a rogue, and I'm sure it was because I am one just like those people. My life is not more precious than theirs. If anything, 2 lives should be worth more than 1. Either way, the gun still pointed at me eventually. Sebastian slowly stands up and looks down at me with amusement. Pride. Shame. Or is it guilt? I am too distracted by his body towering over me and his hand that is held out for my use. I reluctantly place my hand in his before standing up myself. He leans towards my ear, and I expect him to whisper to me. But instead, he softly places a kiss on my cheek. The brief action sets my cheek aflame. I am speechless, forgetting that he is still a stranger to me. Your grandmother should be arriving soon, he says, not letting go of my hand as he leads me through the house and towards his office. Why are we going back to the office? I ask him as he continues towards the 2 grand gray doors at the end of the hall. He swiftly opens them up and lets go of my hand when we get inside. I watch him as he searches through the drawers of the large desk. What are you looking for? I question and sit down on one of the chairs facing his desk, as if an appointment has been made after Sebastian tells me it is just down the hall. I close the door behind me and suck in a deep breath, needing to talk to someone in particular. I turn the faucet on and cup the cooling water in my hands before drenching my warm face. My eyes peer up into the mirror, causing me to step back when I find myself peering back at me. I should have expected this joining my mate's pack, as I am supposedly the Luna. Could this all be happening too quickly? I have not spoken to my grandmother yet. What if? Calm down. This should not be a difficult process. Beside me in the mirror is the moon goddess, and she is glowing more than ever. Are you not happy? She asks, not understanding why I feel this way. I let out a short sigh and turn to face her. I guess. I mean, something about him just all of this is happening so quickly. In another second, I'll be part of a pack again, and it is not of reasons why I should believe it. I argue back. No sane person would believe me. Hell, think him crazy just like everyone else. She pulls away. Come. Your grandmother will arrive any second. I do not enjoy when we argue, as my insecurities always seem to start it. The moon goddess is usually right, but this time it is hard for me to trust her. My mate, Sebastian, does not seem like the type of person who would believe my nonsense. How am I standing on the other side? He looks to be slightly uncomfortable, as he must feel guilty for what happened earlier. Your grandmother is here. He was given the orders. I understand that. I wish he knew that it was not his fault, as the shooting fiasco was primarily mine. I like to think for a good cause. Riker leads me back towards the living room, and the first person I notice is my grandmother with her arms crossed, sitting on the couch. When she spots me, relief washes over her aged face. Oh, thank goddess. She breathes out and rushes towards me. Immediately, she reels me with a tight hug and many kisses on my cheeks. My Evangeline. You're okay. What on earth did you get yourself into? For a little old lady. She can sure pull off a "you are in trouble" glare. What happened to your head? Did these men hurt you? No. No. It was an accident. Something happened. But everything is okay now. All right, she says uneasily. You have to come home with me right away. And you're dreaming if you think I'm letting you venture. I can't. I swallow. Dizzy feelings from earlier seem to be surfacing again. I found my mate. Her face shifts to a rather blank expression. What? I've found my mate here. She sits back down, apparently needing a moment to process my words, 89 my words. Will you be all right here? My grip on her fragile hand tightens. I do not know if I will be all right here, but I want to tell her yes. I do not want her worrying about me any more than she already does. I think I will be. Your mate. He is a good man. I think he is. Grandma? She nods and gazes down at her lap. I wonder what you're for me. I'll come see you. Make sure you're doing okay. I tell her while fighting back threatening tears. I do not want to say goodbye. My grandmother took care of me when my parents could not. She loved me when my parents could not, even if she is kept from the truth, and she is all I have left family-wise. I don't want you worrying about me because it'll be okay. Riker has left the room, giving us the privacy I need. Dawn's short moment. So I wandered the halls of the gigantic house. My mind cannot help but continue to drift to their conversation. Though, what are they talking about and why can I not hear it? I feel like a punished child. And my parents have yet to come up with the punishment. I begin to hear footsteps behind me as I walk down a random hallway. And when I turn to see what is causing the sounds, I spot the dog from earlier. Bruiser. A smile spreads across my face from ear to ear. And I hurry to the chubby pup. Left. And the alpha wants to see you in his office. He informs me briefly. Wait. She left. But I didn't get to say goodbye. I peer up at Riker with a mask of disappointment on my face. The alpha will explain. I do as I am told and follow behind Riker to the alpha's office, having to play the game. When we arrive, Riker pushes one of the doors open and lets me in. Sebastian is sitting at his desk, shuffling through papers. Why did she leave? I ask him, and he glances up at me for a second before peering back down. She will be back tomorrow so you can talk to her then. I nod slightly before sitting in one of the 2 leather seats in front of the desk. I sit silently for about 2 minutes before I pipe up again. Where is everyone? They're working. This time, Sebastian does not look up at me but keeps writing on one of the many papers. What do they do? What I tell them. I observe him and take in his features while he is distracted. Slowly, I have grown an urge to look at Sebastian, as he is just so handsome, since we are bound to be together in a romantic way. I want to be the best person I can be for him. I want to find out how my mate works, how he functions. I want to know if he desires me as much as I secretly do for him. How do packs work? I question him, randomly. Sebastian stops, and his gaze lands on me. Every pack has an alpha, which is the position I hold. Then there is a second in command, who is called the beta, which is the position Andrew holds. And lastly, the third in command is Riker. We take care of the pack, as we are the leadership, but all answers to me. When the alpha finds his mate, she becomes the Luna, the alpha's equal. A light blush has started to show on my cheeks, and I try to hide it from him. It works as a government. My pack, the Tate Pack, has our land, guards to protect it and enforce rules, and the pack members. Sebastian stands up from his chair and comes over to me before holding out his hand. I take it and do not ask any questions as he leads me out of the room. His touch spreads a soothing sensation over my body, making me relaxed, clearing my head of troubling thoughts. My wolf never wants him to let go. When we reach the top of the stairs, I become too curious. Where are we going? To bed. I must have lost track of time, and when I look out one of the windows, it is dark outside and the moon is high in the sky. Where will I be sleeping? I glance back at him from the window. He leans down to my ear. With me. A shiver runs down my spine from his warm breath on the side of my cheek. I have never slept with anyone but myself. In my own bed. How do you sleep with someone else? And I do not mean sexually. Admittedly, it is not as simple as just laying in the same bed and trying to drift off. I bite my lip and let out a small, shaky breath, never having felt so nervous. I almost unnoticeably nod my head and turn to him, but he does not say anything else and continues to walk to his room. As we near a familiar pair of doors, my heart rate picks up. What should I be expecting? What is he expecting from me? Moonlight drips through the windows lined along the hallway, creating a dull striped pattern on the floor. Only natural light leads the way to the gates of hell in front of me. Or that is at least what the burning sensation in my chest would like to believe. My lungs clench inside of me, as if the air pushing up against my body is just not enough to quench their thirst. Sebastian walks in front, guiding me towards the nest of fear, anxiety, and surprise. If I could manage to think logically at this moment, I would be expecting rather reasonable things to be behind the doors. But since the irrational side of my mind has taken over, nothing can be so ordinary. A spell has been cast over me, over my mind, and it is called the mate bond. Maybe if we were not mates, I would be at home with Grandma. Or maybe I would be dead like the rogue they first labeled me as. My body is physically exhausted, beaten up by the constant rush of this never-ending day. I never thought finding my mate would cause me to act mindlessly and frantically, as if one more second of my new reality will result in my head bursting. I feel as if someone else has taken over my body. They have buttoned me down, climbed in, and buttoned me right back up. Why must I fight for control over my own mind? How can something so precious as the mate bond hypnotize me and filter all the negative parts of my mate out of mind? As if I have never heard of them in the first place. I wish there were someone to put an end to all these prodding questions jumbled in my head. I thought there was, but from our encounter in the restroom, I am finding it hard to trust her words. Sebastian pushes one of the doors open and leads me into the familiar room. The room where I collected myself. Everything is in the exact place as earlier, except for the new stack of clothing sitting neatly at the end of the bed. Marina brought you clothes to sleep in. I nod. The air begins to grow denser as my lungs greedily take it in. I don't think I can sleep here, I say to him. Sebastian brings me to a spare bedroom which takes a vast amount of weight off my shoulders. Though before he disappears down the hallway, he looks back at me from the doorway. Sleep, if you can manage to, he says before returning to his bedroom. Confused by his words, I place the sleepwear on the bed and take the extra bandaging from the top of the pile. Marina must have remembered what the doctor said. The door on the left wall takes me into a bathroom, and I glance in the mirror as I attempt to remove the old bandages. After tossing the used wrappings in the garbage and replacing them with fresh ones, I change out of the borrowed clothes into a new pair. When I get back to the house, I will have to grab all my own clothes and thank whoever Fiona is. Hopefully, she does not mind sharing her wardrobe. Why are we in a separate room? My wolf asks my problem. There is always the solution of sleeping in the same bed. Together. But there is no way that is happening. I will not go back on my decision now. Sure, he has kissed my face. But sleeping in the same bed is entirely different. Rolling over. I groan for the 1,000th time. All I can picture is his big arms holding me close. Protecting me. Imagining the warm, intimate sensation of his breaths fanning the back of my neck. Making me want to scream. The animal inside wants his touch. And it wants it now. Groaning again. I shove my pillow in my face, hiding my deep blush from the world. I did not think about these things before him. A part of me hopes he is struggling too, even though that is outright selfish and egotistical of me. Yet, this part of me wants his thoughts to be singular during times like these. Kicking the covers off my restless body, I become frustrated. I just want to sleep. And without him, sleeping has become a chore. Henry and I walk side by side in the direction of the stream according to him, as my sense of direction is lost as of now. The two of us have not had a proper introduction, and I want to utilize this time to do so. He seems like an exciting person. Easygoing and enjoyable to be around. His lovely brown eyes give me hints of fulfillment. Henry, from the looks of him, comes across as someone who is at peace with their life currently. But I know everyone has hurdles to jump over. Henry, if you and Sebastian are brothers, how come he is alpha and you aren't? I ask, curious to learn more about pack leadership and his views. He glances at me, then looks back to the forest scenery surrounding us. Engulfing us, the sounds that I have grown accustomed to, and miss dearly, caress me in their arms, gently rocking me back and forth. He is older, so he got the position. Did you want it to be alpha? He shrugs. When I was younger, the fact that Sebastian was going to be alpha seemed unfair, but now I've realized that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. Why's that? Henry glances at me again, and he lets out a short sigh, needing an extra second to piece together an answer. Sebastian. He needs it to be alpha. I only wanted it. Leaves crunch under our feet. The thin, dead-looking nothings that have fallen all the way down from the branch they once so desperately clasped to. I watch my feet as they hover over the next bunch and ruthlessly stomp down on them, loving the muffled grinding sounds. You have always lived so close to our borders. He starts. Sounds a little dangerous. As odd as it sounds, I never knew there was a pack so close by. And I'm sure my grandmother didn't either. She's not a big fan of packs. Why's that? Well, she's always been independent. Her and my grandfather before he passed. I don't know, maybe she didn't want to follow the rules. I haven't asked her about anything specific. I explain. For as long as I can remember, she's lived out here, though my mother never talked about her much. Henry nods briefly. You've never had any problems with rogues? Not that I know of. But then again, I just learned what a rogue is. It is someone who does not belong to a pack. A werewolf who follows their own rules. You know, he grabs my attention as it starts to stray from the sounds of rustling leaves. Technically, you and your grandmother are rogues. Is that a bad thing? Because everyone at your pack sure makes it sound like it. I mean, 2 of them were about to be killed. You aren't a threat. I'm sure about that. Sebastian told me about what you did. And those rogues. Those were not good uns. My brows furrow together as I try to understand what he is saying. The two men that I pretended to risk my life for were not good people. What do you mean? How do you know? Those two guys have been killing our guards around the borders. I thought Sebastian would have told you. But now that I think of it, if I were him, I wouldn't want you to worry about things like that. I would want you to feel safe. The sounds of trickling water begin to creep towards me, and I immediately know we are close. It is hard to be excited after finding out the men are killers. Then again, I have met a few of those already. One makes me continually remind myself that he has indeed killed people. But I cannot help but push that detail to the back of my mind. The girl. I look up at him. The girl from my cell. Has she been freed? Henry's face molds into something regretful. I don't know. I went in there for you. But I didn't see any girls. So she's just gone. Well, I don't want to get you down since you didn't know about the two men. But if she died, someone would have removed her body. There are other possibilities, though. Maybe she was released before I could get to her. My shoulders slowly fall, and my entire body hunches forward, as much as I want to believe the girl was released. The tone of Henry's voice tells me it was a slim chance. Henry notices my displeasure and nudges me lightly. Is that the house? I'm assuming it is. Come in. Dear, I've made snacks. My grandmother rushes me through the door, and I look back at Henry. But he is already gone. He told me that he was going to go for a walk while I am with my grandmother. I insisted that he come inside, but he wanted to give us time alone. I'll meet her next time, he said. We have much to talk about. Grandmother sits me down in the chair across from her. A platter of small sandwiches and a pitcher of water takes the over the surface of the coffee table. And I smile. My stomach has been begging for something whipped up by her. Are you in a hurry to get rid of me? No. No. I just need you to hear this. I bite into a sandwich and glance up at her, not knowing what she is going to say. Quickly, I swallow. Is it bad? Is something wrong? Grandmother sits back and clasps her hands together, resting them on her lap. It is about the moon goddess. What about her? I shakily set the rest of my sandwich down and focus entirely on my grandmother's next words. Darling, I know about you. I know what you can do. She abruptly shoves me under the harsh spotlight and abandons me on the grand stage, forcing me to stand alone. What are you talking about? She sighs. I have it too. Dear. I've always been able to communicate with. What? I interrupt her, not having the patience to wait for a second longer. You what? I fall back against the chair and look directly at nothing specific. My head is going to burst. My head is going to burst, and I do not think I can stop it this time. My eyes stay staring wildly at something as my head attempts to process her statement. I have it too. Dear. She makes it sound so expected, so utterly normal when it is definitely not. I have lived with my grandmother for a decade. An entire decade, and she has managed to keep this from me. Why? I ask dramatically, finally gaining back the ability to form words. Why? Why didn't you? Your mother did not want you to know. Dear. For a long time, your mother has been pushing herself away from me, not wanting me to influence your life and such. Well, she got desperate and sent you here. I was over the moon, but her one condition was that I wouldn't tell you that we share this. This gift and such. If you knew about me, well then your mother would expect you to embrace it more. She never wanted this, you know. She tried so very hard to keep you from it. How can she keep me from it if it consumes my life? It's a part of me, not some habit, I say to her, frustrated by my mother's past thinking. I know, dear. I had tried explaining it to her many times in the past when she was around your age, but she refuses to listen. I love her, but your mother is stubborn, so very set in her ways. I take a deep breath and sit up straight. My eyes wander out the window beside us, searching for Henry. But he is nowhere in sight. He must have walked far. So, you see her. You talk to her. I ask slowly, as if I must test the waters. My grandmother nods. For as long as I can remember. Do you know why we can? I mean, how can we do it? She shifts in her spot. Well, I suppose it runs in the family. My mother had it, but her mother did not. Nor did her grandmother, but possibly her great-grandmother. So it skips around. So it skipped over my mother. Well, she ponders. I suppose that could be. I am not sure how long it has been in the family, darling, but I am assuming for a long time. How it all began. Now that is a good question I cannot answer. So, why did you tell me now? After all this time. Because I've found my mate. It seemed about time. You've left the nest, found your mate, and no longer need me. Oh. Grandma. I exaggerate. Of course I still need you. You don't have to stay out here alone. I'm sure you can come join the pack with. She waves her hand, cutting me short before pouring herself a glass of water and taking a sip. She sets the cup back down on the table and gazes out the window. You know I like it out here. No one can control me out here. I do what I please. Your grandfather and I always have. I sigh, accepting her refusal. Well, will you tell me what you and Sebastian talked about? Why you made me leave? Oh. He just asked me if I would like to join. The two of you already think alike. My brows scrunch together. Why did I have to leave then? He didn't want you influencing my decision. We continue to talk as I munch on the sandwiches. I tell the story behind my head wound, and she is not impressed. Especially after discovering the two men were no good. Talking to her about it makes me feel less upset over the ordeal, giving me a chance to rid myself of the pesky what-if thoughts. Being back home has given my muscles a chance to relax. And again, everything is at a slower pace. The last few days have been hectic from sleeping in an intolerable cell, finding my mate, injuring myself, and now discovering my grandmother shares the gift. As she put it, my grandmother did cause me to tense at the mentioning of my mother, though, as it has become a sensitive topic along with my father, whenever I think of them, my mind shoots to times of unworthiness and isolation. A lot of memories have dug their way to the surface recently. Not only does my mind have a break from the constant eruptions of sudden commotion, but I have caught myself thinking clearly of my mate. My thoughts no longer purified by our inevitable connection. When my grandmother rambles on about the winter season approaching, I stray to the idea of my mate being a bad person, a killer disguised by the animalistic side of me. A good chunk of my mind knows that he does what he does to protect his pack, and I understand I may not know what the sense of safety costs. Death has never clouded my thoughts, and I do not think they cloud Sebastian's either. Maybe one day I will grow used to the concept of killing those who threaten to kill you, but I am not entirely sure if I should believe in such ideas in general. Half of my upbringing was spent in an attic, so I am not one to judge others of theirs. But Sebastian's actions must have been a result of watching his father. Assuming the father was alpha before him, his father could have taught him how to act and react to certain situations. Before drawing any conclusions in my head, I should ask more about packs and how they function. Since I am supposedly a Luna now, it can only do me right to educate myself on such things. Grandma. I grab her attention. I know that I'll have to tell Sebastian about the moon goddess and whatnot eventually. But it has me a little worried. Now that I know you've been through similar issues. How did you tell Grandpa? How did he react? It is hard to disapprove of someone you are linked to in such a distinctive and powerful way. Dear. When I told your grandfather, he was a little confused at first, but after a few more times of explaining, he saw it as another part of me. People change each other. But some parts you just have to either accept or acknowledge and move on. My eyes shift to the window, examining the nearby trees and brush for any sign of Henry. Don't worry yourself too much. Tell him and know that he can either accept this part of you or realize it is there and get on with life. My grandmother tells me. I look back to her. What about my parents? What kind of reaction did they have? They did not react. They had an instinct to protect you. But that's what I don't understand. What are they protecting me from? She sighs and faces her neatly placed hands as they rest on her knee. The attack. I know. I know. The attack. If it were only because of an attack, they would have brought me back after things settled down. Instead, they left me here and didn't tell me why. You were only 8 years old. Evangeline, how could they have told you? Explained all the reasons why you are safest, he. I sit up straight. All right. So what is stopping you from telling me now? Next time, she stands up and grabs the empty platter from the coffee table. I'm sure your mate is waiting for you. So we will talk about it next time. Somewhat frustrated, I take a deep breath and get up from my seat. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow. You know, I need time to think about things too. Dear, why don't you bond with your mate? Spend time with him. And visit in a few days. In a few days, I can explain why your parents did what they did. Process what you've learned today. Give yourself time. Our goodbyes are short, as I am expecting to see her very soon. After grabbing some clothes, I head out of the house to track down Henry. Presuming him to be close by, I call his name towards the trees and wait for a reply. But none comes. Henry. I call out again. But the only response is that of a flock of birds abandoning a near tree. Did he go back? Maybe I took longer than he initially thought. So he went back to the house. I make my way back to the borders and track down one of the guards we saw when first heading over. He sees me and walks over. Didn't you leave with Henry? The Alpha's brother. The guard asks. I was just about to see if he came back without me. I explain. I called for him. But he didn't answer. The guard hurries to another close by. And I watch as he tells him something. The guard with the new information then shifts into a large chestnut wolf before sprinting off in the direction I came from. The guard I first spoke to returns. If he does not come back with Henry in 20 minutes, we will inform the Alpha. Did he say if he was going anywhere? Well, for a walk. But it was over an hour. I return to the house and hesitantly step inside. It is odd not having anyone to lead me to a particular room or take me to a specific person. Not knowing what to do. I take my bag of clothing. Enough to last me until my next visit to grandmother's. And I climb up to the bedroom I laid in last night. I refer to the act as laid since not much sleep came to me. There was an array of tossing and turning, flipping the pillow, throwing the blanket on and off of my body, and trying to take my mind off of my mate. It is as if my body now needs him to function properly. I change out of Fiona's clothes and into my own. Hopefully. Marina has been thanking her until I get the opportunity to do so myself. My eyes turn to the small clock resting on the bedside table. one I am very familiar with from last night, as we constantly stared at each other, and I wonder if it has been 20 minutes. When Sebastian enters the house, I hurry towards him. Did they find Henry? Is he okay? They haven't found him. Not yet. He mutters and sits down on one of the couches in the living room. His head rests tiredly in his hands, and I watch him closely, feeling slightly guilty. I told him to come inside, but he insisted on going for a walk. Maybe he just needs some time alone, or... This is not your fault. I close my rambling lips after his brief, dull comment. Is he worried? Or scared? Or panicked? How am I supposed to tell how he is feeling if he continues to talk so flatly? Words consisting of no emotion whatsoever. I'm sorry this has happened. I tell him. You must be so worried. He must have gone far. He murmurs, almost to himself. Evangeline, did you notice anything near your grandmother's house? Ever anything that may seem odd? Or suspicious? Well, maybe. I told your brother that I used to feel like something was watching me. I always thought I was paranoid. Or maybe that it was an animal. Like a deer. You know what? It was probably nothing. It stopped a few months ago anyway. I take back my words. Not wanting to make a big deal out of nothing. No. No. He grabs my hand and sets me down beside him. The small action makes my heart clench for a second. What did you think it was? Really? I don't think this will help. If not to help Henry, then tell me because I am interested. Sebastian says. When did you feel like someone was watching you? Well, when I would go outside and walk around. Just enjoying the scenery, I guess. Sometimes I would hear a quiet rustle or footsteps, but really, it could have been an animal. It could have been the moon goddess for all I know. Why would any rogues be interested in me? It only happened when I was not shifted. I add on. If you were shifted, you would have been able to track them. Uncover them. Sebastian glances to the side, and I quickly pull my hand out of his grasp, grabbing his attention. It was months ago. Really? You shouldn't think too deeply about it. Knowing myself, it was likely a deer. His lovely eyes look directly into mine, and I want to look away. But something inside of me is holding on. Both sides of me know how handsome he is, how quickly he can make my knees weak and send my heart fluttering miles away. These thoughts are so new to me, so fresh. Something only Sebastian can cause me to think. He has control over me, and half of the time I love it. Half of the time I want to please him. The other half fears of being taken over, and the other half knows it is coming. Lay with me tonight, he says smoothly, without a knot in his voice. I breathe out. What if I say no? You do not want to say no. Evangeline, I can see it in your eyes. Immediately, I look away. But he grips my jaw firmly. Nothing painful. And connects our eyes once again. Until you say what you're thinking. Your eyes are the only way I can tell how you feel. Sebastian says. You are nervous. Anxious. Stop. Please. I close my eyes, blocking him from reading me any longer. Expecting him to let go of my jaw. I become confused when he does not. Before I can open my mouth once again, I feel his lips on my hot, colored cheek. I flinch. The sensation surprises me, as I never thought an action so simple could affect me so much. My head spins, and a delightful tingling feeling erupts on my skin. He takes his lips off of me, yet I still feel his warm breath fanning my cheek. The warmth leaves me, and I open my eyes. The once filled space in front of me is now empty, along with the room. My cheeks fill with shades of pink and red. Even more than before. What a kissing bandit. In my gushing fool of a state, my eyes widen when the front door opens, and Andrew comes rushing inside. He notices me, nods, and continues on his way down the hallway. And I'm assuming to Sebastian's office. That must be where the bandit ran to. Darn him for leaving me looking like such a red-faced klutz. Though, taking my mind away from my embarrassing appearance. Is there a reason Andrew hurried in? Does he do this often, or has something happened? If something happened, why Henry? I can't just barge in. They are talking, and I was not invited. But you are the Luna now. My wolf tries to convince me. Hardly, I mutter. I've only been here for a few days. The position can't just be mine. It is simple. And he explained it too. Once the alpha finds his mate, she is the Luna. His equal. It can't be that, Sim. Evangeline. My eyes gaze steadily upwards and land on my mate, as he is standing in the doorway and I can see Andrew just behind him. Though I feel it. There is no time to be embarrassed. Did they find Henry? Yes. People are bringing him in any minute. He hesitates at first, most likely wondering why I am standing outside the office door for no apparent reason. Though I had a reason. It was a good, simple, structured reason until I got to my own head and suddenly began to doubt my position. Hez all right. A smile curves from my lips, and Sebastian leads me down the hall with them, making me feel important, and his hand lightly touches the small of my back, causing me to now focus on two things at once. Henry. Hez a little scratched up, and from what I've been told, very exhausted. My eyes reluctantly peer up at his striking face, reminding me of the offense he committed only moments ago. Darn his sensational lips. Woo. What do you mean he's scratched up? Someone hurt him. Andrew follows directly behind us, and Sebastian swings open the front door, letting a soft gust of autumn air blow past my face, lifting the strands of hair from my shoulders. Just on the other side of the door is a small group of men. Men I am assuming to be guards. Henry is stumbling along with assistants on both sides of him. My shoulders drop. Bring him upstairs, will you? Sebastian orders. I have the doctor on his way. The crowd slowly conquers the staircase and brings Henry into one of the spare rooms. The one across from mine. Sebastian clears most of the guards, and they obediently leave the house. One guard stays behind, and Sebastian does not waste another second before gathering more information. He questions him, asking things like, "Where did you find him? Has he said anything about what has happened? Was there anyone else with or around him?" And others. I do not dare interrupt. Yet I keep my post beside Henry as he lays on the bed. I gently scoop his hand up into mine. Henry looks at me and smiles. You're a sweet girl. Tell me, how did you end up with my brother as a mate? I hold back my laughter. Sebastian's attention turns to us at the sound of Henry's voice. He asks the last guard to leave, and soon enough it is just the four of us. Sebastian, Henry, Andrew, and I. Sebastian sighs. Tell me you remember what happened. Henry attempts to sit up, but he does not make it too far. Oddly, his brown eyes land on me again, gazing right into my own. It's you. Of course. Evangeline, I tell him, not fully understanding what he needs. Henry shakes his head. They asked about you. His grip on my hand tightens. What do you mean? They asked about me. Sebastian steps in and takes control of the situation. Henry, Who asked about Evangeline? His gaze falls straight. I don't know who they are. I have never seen them before. How many were there? 3. Maybe 4. Not a person comes to my mind. Not even a guess. Deep down, I am hoping it was my parents. But that does not explain Henry's minor injuries and the 2 or 1 other people. It is a silly idea. But I cannot help myself. I do not know more than 10 people, and the majority of them Henry would have recognized. The only conclusion that I can draw in my head is that these people are strangers, and they are looking for me. A stranger to them. Their purpose now, that is the real question. I don't know who they could be. I don't know many people. I say to Sebastian, then look back at Henry. Was there a woman? A couple? Henry shakes his head. No. Debunking my unlikely theory. I'll set up groups to search the area. Maybe they'll find someone or something. Andrew. In the morning. Collect around 10 guards and be ready by the north. Sebastian walks with Andrew out of the room as they continue to discuss. Henry lets go of my hand and tries to shift his position. It wore me out. Running from those people, he says in an undertone during his endeavor for comfort. You shifted. Yes. And so did they. I thought they were never going to give up. I study his face, seeing the fatigue in his droopy eyes and slow movements. He must have been frightened. And I do feel guilty now. Much more than before. Henry said these people asked about me, and that has to be the only reason they bothered him unless they were the bad rogues. I do not know much about bad rogues, but I am sure I have no connections to them. I stay with Henry until Sebastian enters the room with the doctor. The same man who bandaged my head after my accident. The doctor notices my presence and smiles before tending to Henry. Sebastian leads me out of the room so Henry can have his privacy. And I watch until the door closes. He'll be all right. Of course. Sebastian says absently. They are only minor. So, what are you going to do? I mean, do you think I'll ever know who was looking for me? Sebastian glances down at me. You should get to bed. It's late. I change out of my clothes and into my pajamas in the spare room. My mind keeps reminding me about Sebastian's question from earlier. Will I lay with him tonight? As divided as I have been, I argue with myself while brushing my teeth and combing out my hair, continuously glancing at myself, revealing the sight of Sebastian looking out the window. My lips run dry. Yes. Not startled. He turns to face me. I was wondering when you would be ready. Ready. I repeat him. For bed. A short, brief sigh slips from my lips. I didn't say yes. And you didn't say no, he says while drifting closer. Well, I can't in my bed. I know. No. You do not. If you did, we would already be asleep. The quick walk to his bedroom is the longest, most untimely walk I have ever taken. My feet seem to grow heavier with every step, as if all my worries are slowly falling to them and piling up. Unlike the past times, Sebastian is behind me as I hesitantly lead. I feel his eyes on me, watching my every move when I slip through the open door and am it, and revealing the silky sheets I saw once before. They glisten dully in the streaks of moonlight pouring through the windows, resembling some sort of ocean. Waves flow through the sheets as Sebastian submerges himself in the water. I stand alone, not sure what to do, what to think. My breaths are steady, and I calmly walk towards the empty side, mimicking his movements. I cautiously pull back the covers and climb onto the bed. My heart beats heavily, so intensely that I can hear the pounding in my ears, like the pulsing is running through his hand, abruptly touches my arm. At first, The action surprises me. But when the relaxing and calming sensations course through my body, I understand why he has done what he has done. Something as simple as his touch already has my muscles loosening, my breaths steadying, and my eyes naturally falling closed. My body seems to sink into the bed. My eyes land on Henry after I push my way through the door. Sebastian already came in, I ask, and he sets down the book in his hands. Yes. He asked me more questions earlier. They should be out looking by now. Sebastian did not tell me that Henry's ankle is sprained, but it is. I was getting ready for bed when the doctor left, missing the results of the analysis. Henry looks much better today than he did last night, though. Much more alive as I can see the hints of satisfaction returning to his eyes. So, Henry, the people, what did they look like? Well, he thinks for a moment, keeping me on the edge of my seat. They all looked built, almost like a guard would. I'm not sure. It's hard to remember details. I nod. And you said there were no women? No. I can remember that. Why do you want to know if there was a woman? Oh. Just curious, I guess. I thought maybe I might know them. But it's obvious now that I don't. Henry's eyes gaze out the window, watching something that I cannot see. You slept with him last night. Startled by his blunt statement, my cheeks heat up. Who, how? I could tell. Sebastian looked well rested today. Unlike yesterday. Both of you. Really? I stay quiet, and his eyes fall back to me. Ever since you showed up, I've been wondering what it would feel like to have a mate. If I won't be able to sleep. Or if Shell need me as much as Ill need her. It's a weird thing, but assuring. At least I know I won't be alone. Before all this, I wondered what I would do after my grandmother died. If I would try and find my parents or move on by myself. It's a relief, really, because the idea of being alone scared me. Shell need you as much as you'll need her. And if she's anything like me, maybe Shell need you more. I tell him. Where are your parents? Evangeline. I can still recall the look on their faces when they dropped me off at grandmother's house. I was sad, yet relieved. Maybe they were happy that I was now safe. Or maybe they were happy that I was no longer their problem. My mother told me that she was going to come get me when things were safe again. She placed both of her hands on my cheeks and looked me straight in the eyes. Her hands were chilled but soft. You attic. I could not be distracted. I don't know where they are. Why is that? I do not know what it is. Maybe it is the welcoming look in his eyes, or the accepting sound of his voice. But I do. I tell him everything. I tell him how the moon goddess comes to me. How my parents hid me away. How I was sent to live with my grandmother. I tell him everything. There is no fear of judgment from him. Tickles my nose. 2 guards follow behind me, and I continuously glance behind to check if they are still there. The 2 wait obediently outside while I climb the steps and knock on my grandmother's door. She answers in a matter of seconds, and I hurry inside. You're okay. Has anything happened? Have you seen anyone in the forest or... Evangeline. What are you talking about? She quiets me down. Why are you asking me if something has happened? Sebastian. His brother was attacked the last time I was here. People asked him about me strangers. I explain. I was worried that they hurt you too. But Sebastian said he sent guards out to check on you after they found Henry. The guards said you were all right. Yes. They knocked on the door. Dear. Said it was only a checkup. I grab her hand and squeeze it as if I need to make sure she is completely focused on me. Grandma. You have to tell me. These strangers that were looking for me, what if they are connected to why I'm out here in the first place? I need to know the truth. All of it. All right. All right. Sit down. It is a long story, she says, and takes a breath before beginning. When I was a young girl, a bit older than you are now, darling, I was infatuated with the alpha of the old pack. He had lost his mate. He is the father of the current one. I think anyways. I did not care that we were not mates. I thought I truly loved him. So I decided that I would tell him the truth about myself. Once I told him about the moon goddess, he believed me. But his perception changed. He thought I was a witch or evil and whatnot. And he was convinced that I would take his pack away from him. So, as paranoid as he was, he came after me one night, committed to killing me. That's terrible, I mumble. Yes, it was. He had a silver knife, and he barged into my house. Oh, I was so frightened, dear. I ran for my life and into the woods. The alpha chased me until he caught up and pushed me against a tree. He held the knife to my neck, calling me demon, but I managed to slip out and shove him to the ground. The knife, it had fallen, so I grabbed it and held it to him. Oh, he came at me, tackling me to the ground, and when we landed, the knife pierced his chest. I screamed and panicked. I heard people coming, so I ran back home. It was the most scared I had ever been. Dear. Did they find out that you were there? I ask, on the edge of my seat, realizing how vivid and dramatic her story is. It is more complicated than that, I'm afraid. After the alpha had died, and the news spread around the pack, I found my mate. He was moonstruck over me. So I told him what I had done, what had happened, and he didn't leave. Somehow the alpha's son, who had to take over, was convinced that I had done it. By then I had your mother, and she was about your age. I thought all that happened was behind me. But his son came out of nowhere with the accusations. The son knew what I was, and he followed in his father's footsteps. Your mother was old enough to take care of herself, and she was upset by my gift, never believing that I was telling the truth. So my mother didn't believe you while the alpha did, and thought you were evil, like his father. Yes, she confirms. So, when I told your mother that I had to leave, she thought it was for the best. So you left the pack because of that. Not only because you're independent. Why don't you want to come back with me and join Sebastian's pack, then? I know your grandfather and I initially left because of the alpha, but I had grown used to life like this. Darling. I lean back in my seat. All right. What happened after you left? The alpha kept a close eye on your mother, knowing she was my daughter. After a while, it died down, and your mother found her mate. Had you? Her life was normal. Well, when you told her that you see the moon goddess, she came and visited me. She told me about it and began to worry that it was real all along. A while after her visit, she began to notice the alpha retaking interest in her. And right when it started, she decided to hide you so he wouldn't know you exist. Well, after the attack on the pack, the alpha was convinced that it was your mother's fault. I interrupt. How could it have been her fault? The alpha believed that your mother led the other pack there. He thought that she did it because taking over the pack would be easier if the pack was in ruins. Oh, he was convinced it was her fault. So your mother panicked and took you here. She went back. My grandmother shakes her head. No. Your mother and father ran. Dear. What? Why didn't they take me with them? Your mother was paranoid. Always convinced that the alpha was following her. Watching her. She didn't want you to get hurt. I know you're going to ask why she does not come and see you. So I'll just go ahead and tell you that she does not want to lead him to you. Wow. I murmur. I know. Dear. It is a lot to take in. If the people who attack Henry, if they're linked to this, I have to tell Sebastian. My grandmother reminds me. You'll have to tell him about the moon goddess then. Evangeline. Perhaps you should think before. I wish I could. Grandma. But this is not just about me. It affects Sebastian. His family. His pack. I mean, his own brother was attacked because of those people out there. I'll just have to tell him and hope for the best. The air is cooler outside than it was before. The 2 guards look up as I come through the door and close it behind me. Something catches my eye down beside my foot, and I see a small spider dashing across the porch. Without thinking, I bring my foot down on it before carrying on my way back to the pack. The 2 guards follow behind me again as I rush through the trees. They do not question my quick pace. Once we make it to the border, I turn and face them. Where is the Alpha? By now he may be getting back from the search. One of the men informs me. Take me to him. We switch positions. Are you sure that you are ready to do this? My wolf questions my abrupt decision-making. I have to tell him now. More people could get hurt. Yes. But there are no buts. This is greater than us. If someone else is hurt by these people, it will be my fault. The only reason Henry was attacked was that of me. And now that I may have a reason for all of this, I can stop whoever they are. If this is linked to the past, to the Alpha, then he must have found out where I am, that I exist. I have not seen my mother for years, so how could she have led him to me? There are so many unanswered questions that I know grandmother cannot answer for me. A nervous, uneasy feeling begins in the pit of my stomach, and it seems to intensify the closer that we get to Sebastian. Grandmother told me that he could either accept this part of me or acknowledge it and move on. Or he could react the way that Alpha did years ago and call me a demon. But I hope that option is unlikely. It should not be hard for him to accept it. Right. The mate bond will keep us close. The mate bond will filter out the questionable as it does for me. Maybe he will react like Henry did. Find it intriguing. Interesting. Right when I told Henry, he asked me questions of fascination. Nothing showing that he may be put off. The Alpha is right over there. Luna. The guard says to me. And I look up from my feet. Sebastian is indeed over there. And I watch him as he talks to Andrew and another guard. My conscience is telling me to go. But my feet will not seem to leave their spot. Is everything all right? The other guard asks me. And I nod. Thank you for taking me to him. Slowly but surely, I make my way over towards Sebastian while convincing myself that this is the right thing to do. Andrew glances over at me, causing Sebastian to do the same. Andrew then says one more thing before walking away and joining a group of men, while Sebastian meets me halfway. Did you go to your grandmother's? Yes. Actually, she told me something important, and I think it might help with this issue. I fight myself to speak the words. All right, he says. What is it? Well, it's kind of a long story. I think someone is out to get me. Sebastian's face hardens. Let's go back to the house, and you can explain there. After running back to Andrew and telling him where he will be, Sebastian and I walk back to the house. The walk is more timely than I hoped. He leads me inside, and we sit in the living room. My knee bobs up and down at a rapid pace as Sebastian sits down beside me. You have to keep an open mind, I blurt out. All right. Well, my grandmother and I, we aren't like others. I start, not having the courage to look him in the eyes. We have this ability. Or gift, she calls it a gift. Well, The moon goddess, we see her. You see the moon goddess? He repeats me. See and talk to her. Actually, she comes to me. Sebastian runs his hand down his jaw, and I take the opportunity to reach out to him. My hand connects with his arm, and he looks to me. I know it sounds insane and unbelievable, and I don't know how to make it sound reasonable. All I'm asking is that you acknowledge it so I can explain why people might be looking for me. Okay. He agrees. Go on. When my grandmother was younger, she loved the alpha of her pack. The pack I belonged to when I was a child. She told him about her gift, and he believed her. But he reacted negatively. The alpha wanted to kill her because he thought she was a witch, or demon, or something, and that she was going to take the pack away from him. Sebastian's gaze is aimed directly into my eyes, making me squirm a bit. Well, one night he tried to kill her, and she ended up accidentally stabbing him in the chest. The alpha's son, who took over, was furious, and he somehow found out that my grandmother killed his father, and he knew about the moon goddess and everything. Well, a while later, after my grandmother found her mate and had a child, the son came after her. So that's why she moved out into the middle of the forest with my grandfather. And your mother stayed at the pack? Sebastian asks. Yes. She didn't believe that my grandmother could communicate with the moon goddess. My grandmother tried to explain it and make her understand, but she was set in her ways. When my grandmother left, she was old enough to care for herself, I explain. The son then turned to my mother and accused her of having the same abilities. Does your mother share it? I shake my head. I'm sure that it jumps around. But women on my mother's side of the family tend to get it. When my mother found out that I was seeing and talking to her, she hid me. Sebastian's brows furrow. What do you mean? She hid you. It was like I didn't exist. She would. Hide me in the house so the alpha didn't know she had a child. She feared that the alpha would come after me, assuming I have the ability. Which you do. Yes. Sebastian leans back on the couch. Did you go outside? No. I spent most of the time upstairs. A worried look comes to his eyes. Evangeline. I know. It sounds bad. But she was just trying to keep me from him. After an attack on the pack, he blamed it on my mother, saying she lead the other over. He thought that she did it because it would be easier for her to take over the pack if it was in ruins. That's why she sent me to my grandmother's, because he was coming at her more than ever. My mother knew that I would be safest away from it all. And she would be too. Where are your parents? I swallow. She was so paranoid that the alpha was watching her, following her. So she thought staying away from me would keep the alpha from finding out I exist. I don't know where she is now. This genetic lifeline scares me greatly. Though I have never met the man. Something inside is telling me that he will kill me. Sebastian's face is flooded with worry. How upsetting it must be to find your mate and discover that there is a target on her back. The pack. He ponders lightly. What? The pack that attacked yours. How many years ago did it happen? 10. I tell him while trying to figure out what is going through his mind. Suddenly he gets up and walks directly to his office while I trail behind him. I stay silent as his fingers trace down a book from one of the shelves. He slips it out and flips through pages. From what I can see, the pages look to be handwritten. What was your old pack's name? Ken Pack, I think. Sebastian exhales and drops the book to his desk. Is something wrong? My father attacked your pack, he says unexpectedly. I had thoughts. I fall back into one of the two seats. Oh. He was a reckless alpha who only cared about taking down others. He had a constant hunger for power, for control, and it caught up to him eventually. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. No. It's all right. It's just a little surprising. Your father, why did he attack? Is there any way you can find out? Was there any specific reason? He may have done it for the land. Or maybe just to show dominance. As I said, he was very reckless with his leadership. My eyes tumble down into my lap. That attack is the reason why I was sent to live with my grandmother. It's why I can't see my parents. I'm sorry. Evangeline. It's not your fault. It's just a little strange how everything is connected somehow. The night comes quickly as I spend the rest of the day thinking over everything I have learned. My family has been living in shadows because of a man with an obsession. The lengths he is willing to go to chills me to my core, making me second-guess all the times I thought animals were watching me in the forest. What if it was him? What if his eyes were the ones stalking and watching every one of my movements? The idea creeps me out. Part of me has a deep hatred for him, a loathing so intense that my mind cannot wrap around it. Half of me wants to watch the stranger burn. My fingers unknowingly wrap strands of my hair around themselves as my mind continues to stray. Laying across Sebastian's bed, I stare up at the ceiling, and I am not sure how much time has gone by. For some reason, time feels as if it has stopped, as if everything has been put on hold. It is a selfish idea to think in such ways. But with all these thoughts and theories whirling around in my head, I do not care. Maybe accepting my selfishness, for now, will not do me any harm. But I cannot get addicted to it. My attention shifts to the doors as one opens from the corner of my eye. Sebastian comes through, causing me to sit up swiftly. "This is where you've been," he says, and comes over to me. "Sorry. Henry has people over. And I was just looking for some quiet," I say. Sebastian sits down on the edge of the bed. His company left 2 hours ago. "Evangeline, how long have you been laying here?" "Maybe 4 hours then." It sure didn't feel like it. Not at all. If Sebastian did not tell me, I would have guessed that I have been up here for only 20 minutes. There is just truly too much to think about. Maybe some sleep will do me good. I cannot bother myself with the alpha if I am asleep. Do you mind if I sleep here again? I'd prefer if you did. A small smile curves from my lips. You know, I've realized something today. That I don't want to be hidden anymore. I don't feel hidden here. Sebastian's hypnotic. Green eyes study my face. I wouldn't want you to. He pauses. You know, I've realized something too. What's that? That I may just do anything. The array of tiny lights scattered about the black canvas seem to come closer as if the sea of unknown is going to swallow me up. I look to the side and I see the foundations of the large, endless trees, and they are too thick to reach my arms completely around. Standing up is tough, as the ground cannot stop moving. It feels like a giant water balloon is under my feet. Evangeline. Someone calls, their voice growing closer with each second. Evangeline. My legs move in a sprint, but I do not seem to be going anywhere. Evangeline. My heart pounds like a drum caged in my chest, and when I look behind me, a giant, shadowy creature appears between the trees. Its red glowing eyes fixate on me before an alarming, hair-raising growl thunders from its throat. Immediately I run in the opposite direction, knowing that it is not far behind me. The trees wave back and forth like blades of grass submerged in water, and some come crashing to the hard forest floor. I climb over a tree trunk and come splashing into a shallow pool of water. My heart jolts from the sudden feeling, and my toes begin to turn blue. Evangeline. The voice calls for me again. So I hop out of the icy water and frantically search around me. Who are you? I shout. A growl erupts from behind me, and I look to see the beast drawing closer. Its canines drip a red substance, and its black fur seems to be in knots. It stalks towards me in an unearthly-like trudge, its limbs built to tear me apart limb by limb. Go away, I cry. Go away. The muddy ground devours my feet, holding me captive as the beast's scent crawls up my nose, making my face scrunch. The putrid smell causes my stomach to rise. I yank at my legs to free myself from the sinking mixture, but they do not budge. The growls grow louder and ringing noises pierce my ears. Evangeline. Evangeline. Go away. Air floods my lungs as if I am coming back to life. I fly up in the bed and breathe heavy, almost gasping. My hands fist the covers while my mind begins to realize that it was all just a figment of my disturbed imagination. A nightmare. I hear shuffling beside me, then his voice. Evangeline. Now embarrassed. I curse myself for reacting in such ways. Sorry. Sorry. I shove the covers off of me and climb off the bed, bringing Sebastian to sit up and register what exactly is going on at 1 o'clock in the morning. I unlock the window and slide it open, letting the sounds of night float into the room. And more importantly, a cool breeze. My skin feels hot and clammy. Evangeline. Is everything all right? Yes. Everything is fine. Sorry for waking you. I murmur to Sebastian while enjoying the breeze against my flushed face. More shuffling noises come from the darkness, and suddenly the bedroom light is turned on. I glance back at the door to see Sebastian walking over, half-clothed. If it were not for my already red face, he would see my fierce blush. But when did he take off his shirt? Not that my startled eyes mind casually glancing at his captivating body. Everything looks so taut and new. If I had no self-control, my hands would undoubtedly be running over his chest like I had never felt the sensations of touching someone else before. Something ordinary has become alien to me. I stop my questionable thoughts for a moment. Since when did I think in such ways? Is it hot in here? He asks. It is now. I think to myself. Do you want to keep the window open? Oh. I just had a bad dream, that's all. About? You really want to know? I question him and lean back towards the window. He shrugs. As long as you are up. I am. And it might be nice to know what goes on in that head of yours. Okay. Well, I was in the forest, and there was this wolf-like creature. It was chasing me. But I didn't feel like I was running. Everything seemed to be in slow motion, but whatever the beast was, it was just creepy. Now that I think of it, I might have had this dream as a child because it sounds really cheesy. Being chased by a monster. How original. Sebastian tiredly leans against the headboard. Maybe it means something. Really, I say and close the window back up before making my way to the light. Well, don't dreams have meanings? I can tell that he is fighting himself to stay awake. My heart warms at the idea of him waiting up so that I am not alone. Well, I don't know about any monsters chasing me anytime soon. I yawn and submerge us in darkness once again. You're scared of him, aren't you? What? I can hardly see Sebastian's figure, though moonlight eerily shines on half of his face, making him look unearthly. You fear that the man the Alpha is going to come for you. I don't know. I have been thinking about it a lot. I mutter and lay down on my side of the bed. Or that is at least what I call it. I don't want you to worry. Then I won't. If only it were that easy. I hear him sigh. I hope you know that I'm going to handle all of this. You are the alpha. I yawn again. All I want is for you to feel safe. You think that I don't. If any and everyone else were in my position, they would feel safe. It is almost impossible not to. I mean, you go to such drastic measures. I have never felt so protected. I assure him. A short moment of silence comes between us. You never face me. His voice is smooth and deep. I could listen to him talk all day without a complaint. You are always facing the other way when you sleep. I bite the inside of my cheek. You know, you speak your mind when you're tired. It's refreshing. You always have this intimidating aroma about you. But like this, when all the lights are off, I see past it. I was intimidated by you when we were first introduced. All I knew was that you were an alpha and that you were making me nervous. That, and the fact that we are mates. Somewhat dizzy with exhaustion, I turn over and suck in a short breath when I notice Sebastian's handsome face and piercing eyes gazing back at me. You see, I mumble. Facing each other is so intimate. I am no longer the only one who speaks their mind when they are tired. He tells me, though I am hindered by our closeness. Sleeping in the same bed together has become much more real. If I had no control over myself, if my mind was taken over by the animalistic side, I am sure my lips would be against his. The idea of it excites me. Thank you for protecting me, I whisper. Part of me wants the wandering thoughts to stop. But the other half wants to bathe in it. Thoughts of it begin to cloud my mind, taking over and pushing everything else out, as I can no longer remember any of them. The ideas of us together make my toes scrunch up and my body hot, as if the thermostat has been turned up all the way. Where are these thoughts coming from? Why am I feeling this way so suddenly? Sebastian's eyes seem to turn shades darker. Is he feeling the same? Immediately, I turn back to my other side, facing away from him. The covers are suffocating me, so I push them off, feeling the cooling night air stick to my skin. I cannot help but want to be closer to him. As close as we can be. Evangeline, he calls out, only fueling my fire even more. I have to go to the spare room. I blurt and rush out of the bed. I'm sorry. My head spins as I stumble down the hallway and track down my guest room. Once I push past the door, I hurry to the windows and slide them all open, letting the night air once again caress me. The drop in temperature cools me down instantaneously, and I fall back onto the bed, letting my body sprawl out over the duvet. My breaths are heavy as I calm myself down. One more second in that bedroom and I would have jumped on top of him, which is something I would never have planned in a million years. As the frigid air takes over the room, I begin to see my breath in front of me. My eyes drift closed. Arms yank me upright and keep me in place. My mind slowly begins to wake as I am lifted off of the bed. Warmth comes to me in the arms of my mate. The lovely feeling of his skin against mine causes my eyes to wave open and closed, seeing the blurs of light. My memory is foggy. I try to push myself more against him, soaking up the heat from his body. He carries me down the hall, yet I am focused primarily on the sensations that being in his arms is giving me. Evangeline. He mumbles my name. You are so cold. My eyes stay open and adjust to the light. I lean my head against his chest as he lightly kicks open the other door to his bedroom and brings me inside. Sunlight seeps through the windows and casts beams of light onto the floor. My eyes study my pale arms as they rest on my body. Hints of purple and blue can be seen in the undertones. Sebastian places me on the bed and throws the warm blankets over my chilled body. What happened? I mumble and enjoy the heat. You fell asleep with all the windows open. Evangeline. It is freezing in there. He reminds me. Stay in the bed. Warm up. My eyes follow him as he moves about the room. Is it morning? Yes. My voice is gentle and sleepy. You're warm. Sebastian studies me before coming over and standing before me. He pulls back the covers and joins me underneath. I scoot back to give him space. But instead, Sebastian holds me against him, wrapping his large arms around me once again. The position is so comfortable that I find myself melting in his grasp. The warmth of his body defrosts me. But even if I am no longer shivering, I do not want him to let go. Not only does his touch play mercilessly with my nerves, but the sounds of his breathing has me more assured than ever. I am in the highest comfort deemed possible. The cloud I am floating on has my eyes fluttering closed. If it were not for the sunlight, I would be fast asleep. Are you comfortable? He asks me, and for a moment I think he is joking. There is no word to describe how comfortable I am. At this moment I feel defeated, no longer hiding myself from him. We may have just met a few days ago, but Sebastian already knows my secrets. He already knows about my gifts and the people that may be hunting me. We have already slept in the same bed. As usual, I am split in two, as one side wants to do everything with my mate right now, and the other worries that the first will get their way. My life was slow and repetitive before crossing the stream, and now it is cluttered with drama, longing, and fear. Though being caressed in my mate's caring arms seems to hypnotize me, I cannot lose sight of what is important. I have to find out if this alpha really is after me. I know that I am assuming a lot from Henry's attack, but this is the only way to explain it as of now. This man and his father have kept my parents on edge, kept them from being with me. I will not let him suppress me too. Later in the day, after Sebastian left to continue with the searches, I find myself running into Henry. He is hopping around, no longer confined to the bed upstairs. Though his ankle is obviously in no condition for walking, Henry does not let that stop him. Are you sure that's safe? What if you fall down the stairs? Henry shrugs. I've already done it a few times. The fear has faded, but I wanted to talk to you about something. Since I can't do much, I went down to Sebastian's office and searched through the books. A lot of them are super old, and I ended up finding one on myths. Evangeline, you're a myth. I'm a myth. I repeat him as I help him to the couch. Well, technically you and everyone else with your ability. In the book, it's called The Daughters of the Moon Goddess. It talked about how they communicate with her because of a spiritual link. It runs in very few family lines, and that's talking about hundreds of years ago. Really. They couldn't emphasize enough on how rare it is, but it's there overall. I smile. Yes, as a myth. But it's not a myth. You and your grandmother are living proof, he says excitedly. I suppose so. But you're the only one who believes me. I'm not even sure if Sebastian does. You told him. I had to eventually. I mean, with the attack and all. To make a long story short, I think the alpha of my old pack is trying to kill me. I explain. Wait. That's one more person who believes in the ability. Henry rolls his eyes at my sarcasm. So you think the men who attacked me are looking for you? To kill you because of your ability? I nod. Wow. Luckily, I didn't tell them anything. I acted like I didn't know who you were. Thank you. Henry leans back on the couch, getting comfortable as I sit down beside him. The book is on the second bookshelf, 2 shelves down from the top, and has a green cover. I think it's called Lycanthrope Mythology if you ever want to look at it. Bruiser comes moseying into the room before he jumps up on one of the seats across from us. Laying down. I have begun to love the dog, enjoying what it is like to have a pet. He is always with you. I glance at Henry. He is my dog. When did you get him? About 3 years ago. Everyone was tense in the house. Sebastian was arguing with my father about taking over, and my mother was trying to get them to calm down. I just got sick of the yelling. So I took my dad's truck and drove to the closest town. You went into a town? I ask, extremely intrigued and curious. What was it like? Could they tell you were different? Henry takes a breath as if he is venturing back to the day in his mind. It was eye-opening. I wasn't a very good driver. My dad taught me when he could. So I parked in this dirt lot. After that, I wandered down a street and went into the shops. The people. They were talking about what to have for dinner or how their daughter is getting married. Married. What's that? It's a thing people do to connect themselves if they are in love. They put a ring on their finger, and it's a symbol of their union. He explains. My brows furrow. Like mates? It's their version of it. They chose who they want to be with for the rest of their lives. They have no mate bond. How odd, I murmur. Could they tell you weren't human? They didn't have a clue. You know, our kind live among them, in the cities and towns. I told you that not all rogues are bad people. Some just want to live life out there, where they are free. The longing in his eyes pulls at my heart. Henry wants to be free, out in the world, making his own decisions. He wants to live alongside the humans and follow their way of life. Anyways, there was an animal shelter in the town. I saw Bruiser and decided to take him home so that I could have a little piece of the town with me. Why don't you go live out there? It's obvious that you love the idea of it. Henry sighs and shakes off my words. I can't, Evangeline. I'm the Alpha's brother. Alpha blood. If anything happened to Sebastian, I would take over. And if I find my mate, I don't know. Maybe one day. The idea of towns and cities overwhelmed me. After living with my grandmother, secluded in the forest, this pack is to me as towns are to Henry. I am content here. Satisfied here. And I believe I can be for the rest of my life. Henry is not like me, though. He craves more. To see and experience more. I hope he finds his way to the place he desires to be. He deserves that. Henry has a free soul, and he must express it. I always thought you were so happy. He looks at me, wanting to know more. I am happy. You would be happier out there. Until then, it'll be okay. Though I have not seen my mother in a decade, we now have something in common. Paranoia. The constant feeling of eyes on me is me if something is wrong. But I tell her no. The only places that I can find privacy are in rooms with no windows. Or if the curtains are pulled closed. I can no longer fall asleep with the windows open either. Even with Sebastian beside me. I worry that he will slip through and steal me away in the middle of the night. It is hard to fear someone you have never seen before. My dreams of being chased have continued. And I am convinced that the beast is him. A bloodlusting, thunderous happens. As I knew he would not want me to worry. To feel unsafe. The guard chased after it until the watcher disappeared. The thing moved in a way that disoriented him, dragging him far from the group and into the dense forest, further into the unclaimed land. Sebastian told me that the unclaimed land is areas that belong to no packs, land free for rogues to roam. Grandmother and I lived on unclaimed land. Right after learning about the dangers of unclaimed land for a werewolf like her, I panicked and wanted to force her over. Has not stopped me. I begin to hear Marina's voice in the background, and another's, but I do not pay enough attention to unveil them. My eyes stare at the undergrowth as it seems to sway back and forth. Could be the wind. Could be something peering through the dense leaves. My eyes study each gap, searching for the pair of eyes. Searching for Summit. Evangeline. I jump in my spot as my heart jolts in my chest. Looking up, making me shrink. Why? I just look out the window. The scenery is beautiful in the morning. I lie, though I do enjoy the scenery. The birds' songs sound much more magical after the sun rises and the day is just beginning. Sebastian does not seem very convinced. But I did not expect him to be. Fiona. She wants to meet you. Fiona. Andrew's mate. The girl who let me borrow her clothes. Though, I doubt Fiona would only want to meet me so she can yell about how she despises sharing. I have never had a friend that is a girl, besides the moon goddess. But I do not label her as a friend. The moon goddess is more of a mother figure to me. Henry is the only friend that I have had that is a boy. Which seems quite sad now that I think about it. A life in hiding is a life alone, I suppose. I should take advantage of this moment. Enjoy making a new friend. My younger self would have conquered this opportunity with excitement and strive, determined to live life to the fullest. My younger self imagined herself playing and laughing with the other kids, watching down from the attic window with tears in her eyes. I have to do this for her. Sebastian. I grab his attention as I follow him along. I was looking for him. In the forest. I know you were. Then why did you ask? I was hoping you'd say something different. I grab his arm, halting our movements for a moment. His eyes fall to the connection before looking into mine. I did say something different. Yes. But you're not a very good liar. I let go of his arm, missing the feeling of his skin against mine. The mate bond is sure to leave a longing in my heart. I don't want you to worry. Evangeline. He says my name, toying with my emotions. You believe a man is going to come and kill you. Because he might. You are frustrating. He exhales. How? This time he stops me from moving ahead. Because I could surround you with ways of protection and you will still feel unsafe. Still jump every time that Alpha is mentioned. Because it is my fear. You cannot protect me from my fears. I dramatically say. The rest of the way is silent. Not a word spoken by either of us until Sebastian brings me up to the house. He tells me that he will be back later after knocking firmly on the door. A girl opens it. Maybe a year or two older than me. Fiona. I am assuming. Reminds me of the dolls I used to play with. Her smile is sweet and inviting. Her hair is jet black and filled with shiny, large curls. And her entire aroma makes you want to please her. I look up at her with admiration, wanting to know how she makes everything seem dandy. You must be Evangeline. Her voice is something of an angel's. A voice you would want to sing lullabies, rocking you to sleep. Yes. I awkwardly spit out. I thought this was going to be easy. A walk in the park. How am I supposed to make friends with a perfect girl like her if I suddenly cannot remember my name? Fiona. I ask, hoping that the person in front of me is not Fiona so that I can get another chance. Of course, she says, following with a toothy smile, all her teeth being straight and white. Please come in. I'm so happy you're here. You're so pretty. Am I pretty? If I am pretty, she is something above gorgeous. Next to her, I probably resemble a troll. Preferably one from under a bridge. I look back at Sebastian, wanting to know if he indeed sees Fiona as well. He seems to be. I'll be back to get you later unless you two end up at the house somehow. He tells me again, but this time I abruptly grab his hand, not wanting him to go. This feels all too familiar. He gives me a questioning look. I'll give you two a moment to say goodbye. Fiona blushes and politely closes the door. What's wrong, Evangeline? He asks, and I do not let go of his hand. My breaths quicken as the memories come back to me, though I am not sure why they are affecting me now. Sebastian has left me before this, leaving the house for the searches, for alpha duties. But for some reason this time it is different. Where are you going? To the west border. He tells me briefly. Are you all right? When will you get me what time? Probably in a few hours. Maybe more. Just get to know Fiona. Have fun. And I'll be back. Sebastian makes a move to walk away. But my grip on him tightens, not letting him go. It is all coming to me. Her eyes gaze up at mine. The lovely chocolate color that usually brings a smile to my face. But this time I could not smile. I latch onto her arm tightly. With all the strength I have. Sweetheart. Well, be back in a few days, okay? Grandma will take care of you until then. I don't know, Grandma. I mumble. Well, you can get to know her. She can play dolls with you. My mother strokes my cheek, wiping the stray tears from them. Don't cry. Daddy and I are coming back. I could see the pain in her eyes. Please don't go. Why can't I stay with you? The pack isn't safe right now. Once things clear up from the attack, I'll be knocking on the door. All right. I shake my head, gripping onto her tightly. Don't leave me. The tears continue to fall down my cheeks, only to have more follow behind. Please don't go. I'm sorry. Sweetheart. She whispers while pulling her arm from my grasp. Daddy and I will be back. We'll be back. She calls to me as she hurries to my father in the distance. My grandmother holds on to my shoulders, stopping me from chasing after her. I sob. And I sob. And I sob. Mom. I shout at the trees. Mom. Evangeline. Sebastian's voice caresses me. Are you crying? Suddenly my hand shoots up to my cheeks, and I fiercely wipe the tears off my face. No. No, I struggle to come up with the right thing to say. Turning away from him, I curse myself and fan my eyes with my hands. Sebastian grabs me and turns me back around, back facing him. What happened? What did I say? The concern is evident on his face, and I hate myself for making him feel this way. You didn't do anything. I don't know. Calm down, he tells me until some sort of realization comes to his eyes. He places his hands on either side of me, forcing me to look up at his handsome face. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay. I'll be at the west border. Sebastian points in the direction. I'll be just over there. If you need me, tell Fiona, and she will take you to me. I nod. You know what? Just step outside. Scream my name, and I will come running. I'm not going anywhere. I take few deep breaths, trusting Sebastian, trusting that I will see him again. Okay. Okay. Can I have a hug? Sebastian does not think twice before wrapping his arms around me. I take in his scent greedily and finally find myself relaxing. If you need me, I'll scream. I interrupt as we pull apart. At this moment, I feel close to him. I feel our bond strengthening, and it is a good feeling. Thank you. I watch Sebastian walk away for a few seconds before slowly opening the door and peeking inside. Fiona. I call into the house. Right here. She pulls my gaze to the side, and I see her sitting in a small living room. You two are so cute. Please. Come in. Once inside, Fiona offers me water and a snack, which I kindly refuse, so she leads me towards the living room. I sit down on a couch while she takes a chair across from me. Trying to act proper, I place my hands neatly on my lap. So I heard about how you and Sebastian met. Andrew told me the story. You are so brave for saving those rogues like that. She must not know that they were dirty rogues. Oh. It was a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing. I didn't know much about packs and how they work. But thank you. You were a rogue. Sort of. I lived with my grandmother. But before that, I belonged to a pack. How did you and Andrew meet? A smile lights up her face. Well, back before I met Andrew, I was a bit of a party girl. Oh my gosh. My friends and I used to drive all the way to the closest city and see what we could get ourselves into. One night, we were walking down the street, and across the road, Andrew was walking the opposite way. I felt it. You know, the pull. His scent. And I knew he was my mate. I was so excited and taken by him that I stupidly stepped out into the road and almost got hit by a car. I don't know why. But for some reason, I thought that the world had suddenly stopped spinning for me. Andrew saw all this, obviously going through the feelings too. And he ran across the road, dodging cars to make sure I was okay. I watch her as she begins to fill with color, probably thinking back to the exact moment, remembering everything she felt. Right when I looked up at his face, I knew he was going to be the end of me. He changed me for the better, making me into the person I am today. I don't know where I would be without him, but I'm sure you know how it is. Sebastian. He looks at you with such about it. My younger sister used to steal my clothes all the time. Your younger sister. Is she part of this pack? Fiona shakes her head, letting the curls bounce off of her shoulders. No. She's still at my old pack, but hopefully she'll find her mate soon. Do you miss your family? I ask. Maybe we could have this in common. All of the time. At first I was excited to leave home, start my own life. But now I try and visit them as often as possible. Our conversation continues, and I find myself enjoying her company. She was intimidating at first, but once I began to dig, Fiona became a normal person. All I had to do was open my mind and not worry about anything else, which was difficult at first. Sebastian kept coming to mind, making me wonder what he might be doing at that exact moment. Could he be thinking about me? Is it selfish to desire for his thoughts to be overrun by me? You're bringing me back to when Andrew and I first started off as mates. The glimmer in your eye. It will give you away every time. Fiona pulls me back down to earth. Mates. They make everything seem okay. They turn on the light when things get dark. They yell at you when you put yourself at risk. They make a crumbling world seem like a paradise. All to keep you happy. You'll think that you don't deserve him, or at least I did, but know that he is thinking the same way.